sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
following statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good morning, boys and girls. Yes, sir. Welcome aboard. It is a beautiful Monday. It is a blessed Monday because we're here. And every day that we're here is an absolute blessing, and hope all of you are well. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. I know I had a great weekend myself, watching a little sports, depressed on how mediocre our winter teams are. Had a good time yesterday watching the Super Bowl. That was actually a really, really good game, and proper finish to the game. We'll get into that, obviously, on the show. We got to talk a lot of Super Bowl stuff. I guess we'll talk some Rihanna. We'll talk a little Miami Heat, as they played two very uninspiring games over the weekend. What else? The Panthers, talk about uninspiring. They also did not perform over the weekend. What else? What else do we have? More UFOs. Yes. Love it. I mean, I'd rather have the UFO band actually touring around. That would be good. But we've got other kind of UFOs. We got a bunch of NFL news. Tua on the show today. We got to talk a little bit about Tua and his Super Bowl interview week. We'll go over that. So we got a bunch of stuff, some music news, some big music news broke yesterday. Also got a very interesting KSDT CPA sports business report. Got some NBA stuff to talk about. Got our show, which, by the way, again, we will be on the road. Let's see. You know, you can catch us at Acura twice a month. You can catch us at Hialeah Park every Thursday, right? You can catch us at Caneswear right here. Caneswear, the spot where Miami fans shop. You can catch us there also once a month, once every 2 months, somewhere around there, over at Caneswear with Jeff and the boys. And you'll catch us 3 times. We're going to be at the Youth Fair, the Miami-Dade Youth Fair. So we will be there. It's March 16th through April 19th. In fact, they've got a sale going on now through Valentine's Day. 2 admissions, 2 unlimited rides, $64. So take advantage of that. It's actually a really, really good deal. We will be giving away some passes. Okay, so you can get in and stuff like that. So stay tuned here on the show. And then we'll tell you exactly where we're going to be broadcasting 3 times during the month of March and April over at the Dade County Youth Fair, or the Miami-Dade Youth Fair, all of that. We will be at the NFL Combine later on this month. We take off on the 28th. We'll be back on the 4th of March. So we'll be out there for several days, having some fun and gathering some information. We'll be working the evenings. The show will be normal at 10 a.m. like normal, okay? Nothing will change because the time slot doesn't change. And the good thing is for me, during the Combine, what people don't realize is my work is really done more late in the afternoon and the evening. So during the day that I do the show, it doesn't bother me. I can just get up and do my show, hang out with Sean like we do every day, and do the show and rock out. So we do our thing every single day on the platform. So it'll be nice and easy for me on the show. We'll be at our Airbnb broadcasting live because I'm not going to Radio Row over there. I did it several years ago for the last time, and I was so disappointed. They gave us very few people, And it was like, so you want me to pay all this money for the phone line and you're just going to give me 3-4 people in the entire, get the hell out of here, and I'm there broadcasting it. Nah. I'd rather, and I could get people on anyway through StreamYard and all that stuff if I really felt like it. So it's not a big deal, overall. So we will be hitting the road, covering the combine for you and covering the youth fair, actually. So that'll be really cool that we'll get to go to the youth fair, place that I've been to many, 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 many times. I've already been told, Sean, be ready. They're going to attack us with all kinds of food items. Okay. So, yeah, their thumbs up, of course. There we go. It's, I can't, and fair food is just awesome. So I can't wait to see what they bring to us and the kind of things that you can go to the fair and try. Because I mean, I'm at a point now where I really don't ride much anymore. I just kind of walk around, see the people, go dunk the clown a couple times because I got to do that. If any fair that I go to, and the dude is talking crap, and I got to go over there and buy a couple of baseballs and dunk them a couple of times. No, not once. We dunk them at least a couple of times. So, that kind of stuff. So we'll have some fun, doing that. So we got a lot of things to talk about today on the show. And I look forward to seeing some of you at the youth fair. Okay. I would hope that some of you come on out and visit us. Okay. And Tua Time's already saying Squared Circle Digest tomorrow. Yes, right, Sean? Tomorrow is yes, I got another thumbs up. The return of the Squared Circle Digest. And the other thing Sean and I were talking about, and he made a good point. We're going to now also separate church and state here. And all crypto stuff will be on the crypto show from now on. Okay, so we will kind of piece it away from this show. So, and you're not going to wait till Saturday. I'm going to do crypto shows now throughout the week. When I see that there's enough material and I see things are going on and there's newsy stuff, and it might be a short segment. It might be 7 minutes. It might be 12 minutes. It might be 45 like it was this weekend. And we gave you our selections. Not that we're financial advisors by any stretch whatsoever. We're, not we, just I'm just some guy that likes crypto. That's all. Because I can't throw Sean in there because he's not the one, giving any opinions. But we are just entertainment and information. We are not for financial advice. That you need to seek a professional. But yeah, so we're going to do that too. So, I'm going to take the crypto talk out of the show, and that will go with the crypto show. So that way all that material can be found in one place. So if you want to then find out about it, there you go. And I'm already gathering information as we speak for the next show. It might be this afternoon. It might be tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. You just never know. Just hit that notification bell so you can catch it. What time does the show debut tomorrow? 7 o'clock, I think. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. I see tree there. I wasn't sure if that was a tree or a 2, and it was a tree. So 8 o'clock Eastern. We have to throw the time zone in there to remind people, because we have so many people watching and downloading all over the world in different time zones. So you always want to remind them that it's Eastern time, so that way they can adjust if they're not in the same time zone also. Frankie says, guys, if UFOs are coming, we are okay as long as we have Will Smith. Yeah, I'm with you there. Or Michael Schenker, however you want to look at it, If the UFOs are coming, I want them to use their superior medical technology to heal Tua and augment his body to where he makes Mahomes look like a bum. I'll sacrifice myself for those experiments. So Nyborg is going all in and hoping. Can I say something I nobody has talked about with the UFOs? Just one thing. I just want to say one thing. When everybody, not everybody, but some people were complaining about it, letting it go across the country. And, now they're shooting it off the coast already right away before it gets into anything. But, shooting it over the country, one thing nobody's ever mentioned, what if they're afraid that there might be chemicals inside? And then you shoot it, and then forget about the ginormous piece landing if it lands on somebody, a house or whatever, the damage you could cause. But what about if there was any kind of chemical inside of it? So shooting it over the ocean was still the better idea, just in case. Now, all the other ones, we have no idea where they came from. We know the first one was Chinese. We'll find out about the rest. But wow, dude, it's just like, how many years has this been going on? Because obviously they don't take care of top secret documents, right? Because come on, look at all these guys. You know what I'm saying? Look what's going on with Pence and Biden. It's like these guys look. Oh, I guess I forgot I took them home or whatever. You know what I mean? The other guy is just evil, but it's like we don't take care of our top secret documents, but so why would we be taking care of the, what is it called now? Middle space now is what they're calling it. The battle for middle space. Yeah. Weird stuff, man. Weird stuff. What can I tell you? Anyway, do you have a hairstylist in studio? Very fresh. No, it's just fresh from showering. So I didn't dry it. So it's still wet. That's it. There's no nothing behind it whatsoever. It's just still wet. No styling, no nothing, just wet. That's it. And it hasn't dried. I didn't feel like blow drying the damn hair today. So Brian says crypto show was great on Saturday, very informative. Thank you. And we're trying to keep it in a way where it's early stages for people that want to learn about crypto and that kind of stuff. I'm not treating people, not that I'm some kind of expert either, by the way, but not that I'm talking at least a little bit more advanced to where I'm at now. In other words, I'm not doing it like that and treating everybody like that. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to scale it down and help the people that are new to it and help them get started if they're interested in it, of course, and then of course do your homework so you can find out more about it. And Jamie is correct. Please smash the hell out of that like button. It is very, very important that you smash the hell out of the like button, man. Thank you. And thank you all for, if you haven't caught the crypto show, it's there. We put out a couple of extra segments out of it, talking about the impact of Bitcoin and how it's actually being mass adopted in many places. And then the other segment that we put out was coins that I think are incredible bargains. Okay. Also there for you too. So you got that. All right. We got Ira Winderman going to join us at 10:30. We got Cam Wolf going to join us also at 11:30. So we'll have a little fun with those guys too. All right. What else do we have? First of all, let's start off with the game. And let me get to obviously the top controversy of them all, which is the penalty at the end by James Bradbury. And let me explain something where I we get to a point where you can't have your cake and eat it too. Oh, it's the end of the game. You can't make that call there. Well, yeah, you can make that call there because the guy committed 2 penalties. He held them not once. Let's go LeBron, not once, not twice. He held them twice. 2 times he slowed the guy down. 2 times he committed penalties. So then what are we supposed to do? Oh, we have to lay the burden on the referee. Oh, you can't call that now. Well, wait a minute, dude. So that's what you're saying. Bradbury's like, well, I was hoping he was going to swallow the whistle. Oh, so you want to get away with with 2 penalties so they don't call it. That's your idea, James, of proper football. No, that's called cheating. That's what that's called. That's cheating. You cheated twice on the same play. And then, oh, wait a minute. Typical of this, generation and things that go on. Let's not be held accountable for our actions. Too bad, so sad, man. And the referee had to make the call, because if you want to do it the other way, if you don't make the call, then that could have been a touchdown, because his ass was burned. And this ain't you and me. You hold the guy like that twice, that's 4 or 5 yards. Those people are fast. A lot faster than you and I will ever be. And Bradbury knew it, that he was beat. And they had done that in cut to the back out again a couple times in the game on different kinds of routes. In fact, they scored a touchdown on one of them, that it was on the right side. Same kind of play where he cut back out and went back in, and he had him right away. He juked him. And this is the problem that I have with all of this, is that too conveniently, the people complaining are the same ones that probably, if they were rooting for the other team or whatever, they would be complaining that the call wasn't made. And it's irresponsible by the referee. Oh, well, you can't make that call there. Why can't you make that call there when you make such an obvious penalty? James Bradbury committed the penalty twice. Not once, twice. Okay? I tugged on. No, buddy, you tugged twice. So maybe you get away with it if you do it just once, but you did it twice. And that's what I saw. That's what the referee saw. That's what the world saw. And you saw a clear-cut penalty. And for those of you, it happens all the time. Well, then don't put yourself at risk. There's a cop on the side of the road, and the speed limit is 55, but everybody does 65. But if the cop feels like stopping you at 65, too effing bad, dude. You're speeding by 10 miles over the speed limit. Oh, but everybody does 65 nowadays. Everybody. Well, no, I mean, it's 65. They let you do 70, 75. What's going on? Oh, they stop. Well, dude, you're speeding. You put the decision in the police officer's hands. Now he or she has to say, well, they're speeding. What do I do? You did it, right? But this time you were speeding and you were changing lanes erratically a little bit. That's like you held twice. So now you put it there. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? When you're a kid, your mom tells you, you can't mess with this. And then you go and mess with it. And then you get your ass kicked. Well, I know some of you wussies that grew up in the last 10, 15 years, you don't even know what that is. But normally back in the day, then you get your ass kicked. And then you're crying, oh, well, yeah. Didn't they tell you not to mess with that? Yeah, but, I've messed with other things before. Yeah, no, but they told you this time not to mess with it, right? Right? And you did it, right? So you put yourself at risk. And this time, well, your parent was a little pissed off that you messed with it because you did something extra to it, and you got your ass kicked. Bing, bang, boom, pow, shoes, chancletas, slaps, aviones, whatever it is. Brooms, Latin households. By the way, I was just fine. I got my ass beat several times. I grew up just fine. We're good. Enough already. If you don't want it to happen, don't put it in that person's hands. So if you thought, well, it's Medley, it said 35 miles an hour. I'm doing 42. He's not going to stop me. Whee! Bro, he's stopping me for 42 miles. Well, did you see it said 35? Yeah, but it's only 42 miles an hour. I'm not going that fast. It's 35, right? There's a reason why it's 35. It's residential. There's a school. There's a nursery over here. There's a couple of businesses. There's a golf course that you got to cross. We like it at 35 in this area. There's a lot of traffic. We got a YMCA. We got a golf. We got this. We got that. Some of you are going, is he talking about Springs or Medley? You want to put it in some people's hands? Then when you commit the infraction, okay, don't be surprised if the teacher writes you up, if your parent kicks your ass, if your boss fires you, if the cop gives you a ticket, if the referee throws a flag. You committed the infraction. Now you've put yourself at risk. What happens? And that's what happened to James Bradbury. You committed the infraction not once, but twice. So at that point, now you made it so obvious, you put the referee on the spot on national television in front of everybody. And guess what? You can't tell him that's not a penalty. So it's really easy for him to make the call. There's no, like, for me, the Goddard catch was complete bullshit. He did not have control of it. By the time he trapped it with his out, he only had 1 foot in. That was a bogus-ass call. But see, we can argue about that one. There's no argument here. The guy held twice. I'm a little tired that I am writing and I'm reading some of the stuff or hearing people talk about. Well, no, he held twice. I hope that people would mention it more often. Not one, but two. Sorry. You put yourself in that position, and the referee did the easiest call he could make in the entire world because it was an obvious double foul. And since it was an obvious double foul, it's super simple to actually throw the flag. And that's the only way you could do it. Because if you don't throw the flag, then it looks even worse. So we'll all live with it. Some of you, I guess, lost a bet or whatever. Some of us won, by the way. Oh, and by the way, your thank you also. You're welcome on the Houston game. Heat favored by 11 on Friday. You're also welcome for that victory also. Although the Magic game, they were favored only by 1.5. That one was more realistic. You know, that finally I saw a line and I was like, whoa, okay, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Now, the last time they played the Magic, it was like 5.5, 6.5. And I said, no, you got to take the Magic. And sure enough, it was a win. But the one on Saturday, we didn't get to talk, but I did not. I would not have taken the Magic on that one. So, and the Heat needed overtime. Pathetic. You barely beat a Rockets team, and you get by the Magic in overtime. I mean, this is a mediocre team, this Heat team. Crazy stuff. Christian, thank you for the love on the super chat. After watching the game, I'm asking myself, even with the healthy Tua, can we compete with these teams for a championship? I want to say yes. Your opinion? If healthy, yes. Hell yeah, they can compete with these teams. But the team has to be healthy. Yeah. I like Miami's chances for sure. I have no problem with that. But again, the team has to be healthy. You got to get everybody healthy to go up against those kind of teams, man. But you know, we'll never know until they actually put themselves in that position. What else do we have here? Big O, what'd you think of Hurts' performance? I thought he was terrific, man. Thought he was fantastic. I don't know what more you want from the kid. He went 27 of 38, 304 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. I know he had the fumble, unfortunately. And he ran 15 times for 70 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. He made the throws he had to make. Overall, I can't necessarily blame the kid. You know what I mean? I don't know what more you want really from him. Hey, that big bad defense for the Eagles, they didn't get a sack. After getting 4 billion sacks on the season, that Kansas City offensive line, to me, that was a real MVP. I know you have to give it to Mahomes, and, he's bionic. And, dude, on that ankle, he was pulling away from people on that run. How crazy was that? The man was pulling away from, I'm like, don't you have a high ankle sprain? Boy, that shit is shot up, dude. There's no doubt he's got that leg shot up, man. Holy moly. Wow, that is impressive. He's got that shot up. Man, he was running with the kind of energy you have when you get Nature B every day in your system and you get those 2 golden capsules. By the way, Nature B, highlighting libido, allergy relief, less stress, muscle recovery, added energy, boosting that immune system, fuller hair, stronger nails. Only 85 cents a day right now, folks. 200-day supply right now, or a 200 cap supply, I'm sorry. That's 100 days for $85. That's 85 cents. But guess what? We are now going to give you something free. That's right, a free Manuka Honey Lip Balm for free. So get on there, use our code Big O. Go to naturebee.com/Big O. That's naturebee.com/Big O. Make sure you go to that right there so you can get the deal. 85 cents a day, 100 days, plus the lip balm is for free. And if you're living in these colder areas or areas that are dry where your lips can, get affected, you're going to love this lip balm. It is just absolutely awesome. And for 85 cents a day to protect your immune system in a virus-filled world, go to naturebee.com/Big O to take advantage of it. Many reasons to try it and find out why I've been taking it for over 20 years now. naturebee.com/Big O. Hunter Butler, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. Even if dude didn't hold, they would have gotten a field goal, then drove back down the field and scored a TD. Their D was non-existent in the second half. I mean, I don't know. It's to me, nobody knows what was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So who knows? But the bottom line is he committed the penalty and he was called for something that he obviously committed twice. Not one, but 2 times. And you put yourself at risk overall. By the way, Philadelphia scored 11 points in the second half. The Eagles scored 24. So there was no guarantee that that Philadelphia was just going to drive down. Philadelphia scored their 24 points in the first half. They got dominated in the second half, and they did not finish drives in the second half. And by the way, I thought also Andy Reid screwed up with the prior touchdown for not going for 2 points. You had to make it a 2-score game there. Instead, you kept it at 8, and they went back and tied it. And I would have gone for it because either way, you were going to kick the field goal and take the lead anyway. So it didn't matter. But I would have gone for the 2 and made it a 2-score game instead of a 1-score game like they did. I thought that was actually the mistake that Andy Reid made. You had to I give Sirianni a lot of credit. He stayed aggressive. He kept going for it on 4th down. He kept setting himself up to go for it on 4th down. I mean, credit to him. You got to give him, the credit. But to assume they only scored 3 points in the third quarter, and then they got their 1 touchdown in the fourth quarter. The Eagles weren't necessarily moving the ball at will in the second half. They were actually falling short a lot in the second half. KC was the one dominating with 24 points, in the second half. So to me, I don't know about that. I wouldn't say that it was an automatic thing, So yes, the KC did have 2 defensive touchdowns. That's how it goes. And not only that, the special teams, they got outplayed everywhere. The return by Tony all the way down to the 5-yard line or whatever. You gave Mahomes a gift right there. They got outplayed, period, man. Like I said, the big bad Philadelphia Eagles defense, 0 sacks. How are you going to win that game if you weren't going to pressure Mahomes? Do you remember the last time Mahomes lost the Super Bowl? It's because he got pressured. All right, let's talk a little basketball. Let's switch gears. Ira Winderman and our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
Alrighty. There he is. How you feeling, Ira? You feeling good?
Winning streak. I figured you might not yell at me today, so it's a winning streak.
Those are 2 shitty wins. 2 crappy teams. The fact that they struggled to beat those crappy teams, it's embarrassing, dude. Please.
I know a win is never embarrassing. A win is never embarrassing.
That's fine, but a standard has been set, and you're not even meeting your own standard. Like I've said before lately here, Eric Spoelstra and that coaching staff save this freaking franchise constantly. That's what they're doing. I can't say enough about Eric Spoelstra.
I think Bam Adebayo is saving the franchise. I think Jimmy Butler is saving the franchise. I think Gabe Vincent lately is saving the franchise. You've got players doing what they need to do. The rotation is very limited. The injuries have mattered no matter what you think of the players who were injured or not going shorthanded. Spoelstra being limited, but Jimmy Butler's minutes, limitation playing through the overtime. You know what, Big O, at the end of the year, when you look at the records of the Celtics, of the Bucks, of the 76ers, and anyone who might finish ahead of the Heat, you don't know how they got there, who was injured against them. It's the totality. The Heat is 7 games above 500. The Heat, when they won that game on Saturday, no matter how they got there, had the 8th best record in the NBA. Look, you might say to me, Ira, the other 22 teams suck.
I'm not impressed with the Heat. If I'm the Magic, I'm impressed having the 8th spot in the
I get
what
the
I'm saying? There's a standard, and this team is not even close to meeting, its own standards. You need overtime to beat this Magic team. You need, like I said on Friday, my God, they're favored by 11. The easiest bet is to take the Rockets plus 11. Like that's how mediocre you are. That it's so easy to win money against the Heat, because once they're giving a lot of points, they can never cover. To me, it's a kind of a sad state where it's at. I hope that when the playoffs start, this is a completely different franchise when they start, because right now it doesn't look like it's something that's going to actually last in the playoffs.
You know what? The bottom line is, again, 7 over 500, 8th best record in the league after they won the other day, 9-game home winning streak. You take them as you can get them. You hope it comes together more. The biggest problem is this team can't score. When you can't score, you're going to play close games because there's not a lot of points to go around. That's what they have to address. I hope they address that on the buyout market. But as you've seen, players are flying off the board.
Who's the three-point shooter that you're going to address on the open market? Because that's what you need. Like, I hear people, Russell Westbrook, great, let's add another 2-point shooter.
Not a shooter. And that was a problem for the Lakers. The 3-point shooter I'm going to address, you might know this name because I know you follow the game relatively closely, Duncan Robinson. At this point, Duncan Robinson recovering from his finger injury. Remember, shooting from that Washington game when he got injured in the shoot-around he was playing with 4 fingers on his shooting hand. Big O, honestly, if you were to ask me what's the Heat's best option for improved 3-point shooting, knowing who's out there in the market, whether it's a Will Barton or another player, knowing what you have, I think they have to take another look at Duncan now. Look, he's here anyway.
I mean, they have no choice.
He's under contract. 2 reasons for that. 1, maybe he hits some threes. Great. They could use him. 2, maybe he hits some threes and then you can move him in the offseason because he's actually hitting threes again. So again, I've spoken to you about this. The Heat are not in position where they can showcase players. They have to win games. The
No, I
number
know.
5 seed is within reach. It could be there as soon as Wednesday in Brooklyn. The number 4 seed against Cleveland is still possible. They're playing for really important stakes right now. But I agree, they do need to upgrade either internally or externally. I do agree with that. A week ago, we were talking trading deadline, came and went. Now we look at buyout deadline. Again, Terrence Ross has already left. He's gone to the Suns. You had a chance for a couple of other players. They moved on also. Reggie Jackson, not a big fan of him anyway. He's going to Denver, so you have that
Years
going
ago,
on.
a couple of years, 4 or 5 years ago, I would have wanted Reggie Jackson.
Yes,
Not now.
yes. Between Detroit and when he moved to the Clippers and upgraded his game, I'm going to give you a perspective on where the buyout market stands. The 76ers today reached an agreement with Dwayne Dedmon. That tells you where the buyout market stands. You're not shooting for the fences on somebody like this.
No, I know. It's just, unfortunately, you've got a team that is poorly constructed. It's not built for today's NBA. It's built more for the 90s more than today's NBA. And it's kind of an uphill battle for them. And now you're holding hope for a guy that, had lost his starting spot. I don't know if he's lost his mojo or whatever. And then it also becomes another detriment when you put him out there, because he's going to give up more points or as many as he can possibly score. And so that becomes another issue with Duncan Robinson. You're not getting any better either.
You try to hide him in the zone. When they were successful, they did. I agree with you on one thing, though. They don't have enough
defensive players to hide other people.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Yes.
And if you were strong 4 out of 5, you can hide that guy.
And that's what they did before.
Strong 2 out of 5.
And that's what they did before. When they still had PJ Tucker and they were defensive oriented a little bit more in the starting lineup, you could put Duncan in there, play a zone, and make it work. With Tyler Hero playing 36 minutes a game right now, you have to hide 2 guys. Sometimes you have to hide 3 guys. That's been the problem. The thought is defensively, when Victor Oladipo comes back, he's been very good with his hands, getting steals, mucking things up a little. That'll help you defensively late in games. Even the size of Omer Yurtseven, just to secure the rebounds. We know he's a rebounder. That'll help. It's interesting. For as much,
but also, you know what's unfair that we're doing a Yurt? He's a youngin, dude. Now the guy's trying to come back from an injury. Now we're also going to put expectations on a youngin who really has yet to prove that he can do it on a consistent basis. He flashed it for us for a short time as a young guy, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's just that's a little unfair to Yurt too, man.
No, but you know what? But that's also, he's also going to be an impending free agent. So he's playing for something real. So you know what? As crazy as the NBA is, and you're right, Big O, he's a young player who's unproven. Some team's going to throw him $8 million in the offseason. That's the crazy world we live in.
He has talent. There's no doubt he's got talent.
So you have to see what you have. So the bottom line is, if the Heat are getting Duncan Robinson back, if the Heat are getting Victor Oladipo back, if the Heat are getting the season debut of Omer Yurtseven, they at least have something to grasp on to get better and to move up. I mean, right now, honestly, I like the team that Brooklyn has as far as young, scrappy guys with Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson they brought over, Joe Harris shooting, Nick Claxton. But the Heat should be able to push past them in the seeding race. And you know what, Big O? If they get to a 4-5 with the Cavaliers, it's a lot better than playing the Celtics. It's a lot better than playing the Bucks. Definitely. It's a lot better than playing the Sixers. They can win a round. They can get to the second round. Once you get to the final 8, you know what? There's a lot worse places you could be in the NBA. If you're asking me this, and I understand it, Big O, are the Heat a championship contender this season?
No, not even close.
But you're not a championship contender every season. There's no team. Look at the Warriors. The Warriors won a championship and might not make the playoffs this year. That's the parity that we've seen for years in the NFL. We're seeing it right now in the NBA. Is there a super team in the NBA? Well, maybe the Suns become that. Maybe the Celtics continue this run. Maybe Milwaukee. Maybe Denver, who the Heat face tonight. But it's a league that otherwise is wide open. The Heat are part of that.
How are the Heat favored tonight against Denver?
Well, Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon are questionable. So I think this is one of those injury lines. If you remember, Jamal Murray killed the Heat.
So pre-game, they become available.
This is going to be a line that's going to move up and down. That depending on who you want to play in tonight's game, it's going to be the timing of when you put your bet in. If you remember the game in Denver, the Heat were competitive, and then the Nuggets, I believe, scored on 18 of their final 21 possessions, and Jamal Murray went off. Without Jamal Murray and without Aaron Gordon, they're a one-man team. All of a sudden, you double Jokic a little bit more, you're going to have a higher level of success. So this will be very much of an injury-less game leading up to the 7:30 tip-off.
Are we going to see Jimmy Butler? This would be his third game in 4 nights.
Yeah, we'll see Jimmy Butler. It's all measured. He played the back-to-back. He was supposed to
That's
go
what I'm
by
asking.
agreement, 28 minutes per night. God bless Spo that he didn't do what so many coaches do. Oh, it's only 28 minutes. You're not going to play the overtime. They needed the game. Jimmy's fine. He's not that old. He played through. He gets a day off. And I like what Eric Spoelstra said. After these next 2 games, the team has 8 days off. Give it all you got. These are huge games. Tonight at home against Denver, Wednesday in Brooklyn. Push them to the limit. They'll have a full week to rest and recover as Jimmy bypasses any more overtures for the All-Star game and winds up in Cabo or somewhere for 8 days.
All right. Yeah, that does make sense because you do get 8 days, so you might as well push through. But I'm just wondering if Jamal Murray and who's
Aaron
the other
Gordon.
one that's
Aaron Gordon
are listed out. Do they counter like they did the other day when they, countered, oh, those guys are out. Okay. This guy's out too, and this guy's out
Not
too.
against the best team in the Western Conference. You can play the game against the Rockets. You can play that game against the Magic. You can't do it against Denver. The Heat has been wholly unable to stop Nikola Jokic over his career. That's a challenge to itself. Again, everyone looks at him as more of a finesse center, but he uses his brawn against Bam. And again, you've seen this, Big O, when you've been to games. Bam looks small against a lot of centers when he's jumping that opening tip. There are still guys who have 20, 30 more pounds on him. So that does wear on him. And yet he shows up every night. He plays hard every night. He's a bona fide all-star. He's helped carry that team. Right now, Bam Adebayo is the Miami Heat's 2022-23 MVP.
Yeah. Can you imagine Zoe when he played in an era of real centers and most of them outweighed him and most of them were taller than him?
Oh, Zoe against Yao Ming. Zoe looked like a point guard. But that's what the Heat have always had, sort of that feisty kind of guy who is driven to push. It's a harder way to win. And I know as much as you praise Eric Spoelstra, and he's one of the all-time greats, the fact is that they're still prioritizing defense. In 2023, I do believe is a little misguided, Big O. I know they always say if you don't defend, you don't win. The NBA has gone full circle.
But Ira, this team can't score. So it's imperative. No, I disagree with you. Spo has to force the defensive side because he has no explosion on offense. He doesn't have the luxury of having an offense that can go on a 20-4 run. He doesn't have the offense that has 2 or 3 dynamic 3-point shooters that can just cut a 10-point lead within 65 seconds and multiple possessions. It just does not happen. So Spo has to actually raise the awareness of defense even more because of the detriment of his offense.
But Big O, how incredible is it that the Heat are averaging like 108.6 points per game and are last in the league in scoring? You remember a time in Heat Knicks, that would have been the league lead in scoring. The Heat are the only team in the NBA averaging fewer than 110 points. That's insane. You have to keep up with the times. Like you pointed out, how do you keep up with the times? With 3-point shooting. If you don't have 3-point shooting and you have the best defense in the world, you still can't win because, as you know, you can't trade 2s for 3s in today's NBA. They've got to get 3-point shooting somehow, some way. I agree. Russell Westbrook's not going to solve that. Patrick Beverley's not going to solve that. You've got to address that first and then deal with everything else thereafter.
Somewhere, Doug Moe and Lafayette Lever are going, man, this is our basketball.
Yep.
We were in the wrong time zone. We had to be in 2023. Come on.
Oh, hell, imagine what Paul Westhead is thinking right now when he put no emphasis on defense when he was coaching those Nuggets teams. It didn't work, but at least he tried to bring his Loyola Marymount game. It's a different world out there.
On the college level, it worked, actually. And who knows, that might have been the genesis of what led to years later of what
Paul
we've watched
Westhead
now.
then to Mike D'Antoni's 7 seconds or less, and then moving on down. It's not necessarily the fast break, though. That was Westhead, and that was D'Antoni. It's the 3-point shooting. It's not that the Warriors have run up and down the court. It's just that their priority is a Steph 3, a Clay 3, get their 3-point shooters going, and then play it inside. Just a different time. It's crazy. The Heat last season, best 3-point shooting team in the NBA. This season, 4th worst. It just happens.
Zion Williamson, his problem is he looks like Orlando Alzigari, right? I mean, that's kind of what it
Or
is.
like SpongeBob. Yeah. Now you
Another,
might look like
another
SpongeBob also, but
setback.
yeah.
Another
Yeah.
setback. I mean, listen, it's good for talk shows because I know because
Yes.
I've done it for 30 years. I'm in the kind of shape that I can do a 4-hour, 5-hour marathon talk show. You know what I'm saying? But there's no way I can do 35 minutes on the court or maybe 3 minutes on the court. So Zion Williamson, once again, the injury bug, another setback in his recovery.
It's crazy. Voted an all-star starter with no credentials because of the hype machine, the popularity. Given a maximum extension without barely playing at all because of the reputation he brought in and the desperation of the New Orleans Pelicans. I think what it shows is you can't be a rectangle and play in the NBA. This is a sinewy league, but you have to be angular to a degree. You know what? That's his body type. I don't think it's changing. I think you have to accept, hey, we're going to get Zion Williamson. He's going to play maybe 40 games a year. That's just who he is right now.
So does it get any better, or does it? What do they do?
I don't think with that body type it can. There have been guys who have had injuries at the start of their career and then gone injuryless over the rest of their career. I haven't seen that break yet. I haven't seen that breakthrough moment right now. So I think he's going to be a sum of the time player. When he's healthy and that roster and Brandon Ingram are healthy, they were at the top of the Western Conference.
Yeah.
When not, they're a completely different team. Now, what you don't want to be is on top of the conference. They wind up with a low seed. All of a sudden, Zion comes back. They're facing the Suns or someone, and you have a completely different team with Zion versus without Zion.
So can you see Miami trading him for Kyle Lowry next year?
The Kyle Lowry thing, and I know where you're trying to go with this, but the Kyle Lowry thing is just, I mean, the Heat right now, I think, have to ride it out, hope it works. He's not a terrible player. He still can do certain things for you. It's
for the money, he's
that,
terrible. For the money, he's absolutely
okay. He's dollar value, but when they call his name out of the game, they don't mention how much he makes. It's not starting at point guard and earning $28 million.
But we know the cap space he takes.
Yes.
It's not how much money he makes.
League, it's a killer.
It's the cap space he takes. That's what it is. That's what we don't give a shit about the money. That's Mickey's money. We don't care about that. That's we're not supposed to care about that. He's a billionaire. I'm not crying for him. But what we care about is the cap space he takes.
Yes.
Is really the problem because it stops you from actually getting better. So I'm just saying, you got to what's that expiring deal worth next year? Is there
it's not worth a damn thing. It's not worth a damn thing, just like Kevin Love's wasn't this year. What is the expiring deal worth when attached to something?
No, but what I'm but wait a minute. You're right. You're 100% right what you're saying. But is there a chance that there is a star that is just becoming unhappy with his situation and they have multiple years left and they're stuck with him in a way that there's some baggage with that person? It can't be just like, hey, it's Bradley Beal. He wants out and he's a great kid. Let's trade him. No, that's going to cost you some compensation.
Straight up, I don't see that. I mean, I thought a contract like that had been Julius Randle. Now he's playing very well. He's playing at a different level. He's an all-star. I thought he was that kind of deal. There are not a lot of those deals. It's going to have to be with a sweetener. You're right. You don't get Beal for Lowry. You might get Beal for Hero and Lowry. Then we're not debating Lowry. You're just debating with me, Ira, Bradley Beal versus Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler win now mode. Where do you want to go? That's the discussion we'll be having in the offseason.
Now I'm all in.
Yeah, and in the summer league in Vegas. Yeah.
I'm all in.
Because you know what, Big O? As much as he missed 15 games this season, and you talked about Zion missing games, when Jimmy Butler plays, he's really freaking good.
Oh, he's awesome.
And he's a winning player at winning time. So maybe you have to live in the moment, even though you and I have spoken about the Tyler and Bam thing down the road. Maybe for Jimmy, you have to live in the moment. Again, 2 Eastern Conference Finals the last 3 years. With the right team, he can get you there.
Now, listen, with Jimmy, of course, his body, obviously wearing down, but at least you will have in the memory bank everything that he's produced. The problem with Kyle Lowry is he has not done anything for that money to justify the move or anything like that. So it just makes the situation just that much more sour, I think, for a lot of fans. With Jimmy, the sacrifice is there. You see it, you watch it all the time, But I do fear the back end of this contract that is not going to be a good one,
Well,
unfortunately.
but I can tell you, he maintains that body as well as anyone. So he's
That's true.
not going to let that body fall aside. He has his own personal training staff. He is relentless with them. He will do everything to be at 38 at the end of that contract, what he is right now at 33. He is committed to that, and he does have the body type that can endure. It's just a matter, like you pointed out, the minutes that Tom Thibodeau put on him in his previous days, does he still have enough legs left? That's what we're saying.
Practice and everything with him. That's where it wears you out too. All right, follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. What are you doing leading up to the game?
Couple of things today. I did a story on Gabe Vincent. Kind of interesting. In 2020, in the bubble in Orlando, Eric Spoelstra had Gabe Vincent as the scout team point guard. So he was the opposing emulator. One of the guys he emulated, he told me, was Kyle Lowry. So he said he played the role of Kyle Lowry, learned from him. Now he's replacing him and doing a fantastic job. That's already posted at sunsentinel.com. And I just posted a story about Dwayne Dedmon and the irony of joining the Sixers, the only team the Heat have yet to face this season. So you will have 4 Heat versus Dedmon games still on the schedule, including 2 at Miami-Dade Arena. So hide the Theraguns, people. Hide the Theraguns. He's coming back.
And tell Gabe if he wants to impress me, he has to wear a fat suit when he plays the Kyle Lowry role. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel.
He said that, not Ira. Tomorrow, Inside the Paint, brought to you by RedRecover.com. We'll join you tomorrow at 9 a.m. with Kurt Heel, and we'll go around the NBA buyout deadline, look back again at the trade deadline. Thanks, Big O. He said it.
You got it. Yes. Kyle, Zion, you can't look like me and play in the NBA. See you later, Ira.
See you.
All right. There you go. Ira Winderman and our Acura Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All right, folks. I got to tell you, Welton Rayom, a proud sponsor of our program. Let's talk a little bit about Dan and Jeff. 954-966-4646. Bankruptcy, personal injury, criminal defense, condo damage, business owner claims, commercial litigation, property damage, homeowner property damage. I'm telling you, they can help you. And I know from firsthand, Progressive was trying to take advantage of us, and we called Dan and Jeff. They took it to another level. They crushed Progressive Insurance. Okay, we saw it firsthand. They were offering us 1/5 of what we ended up getting. They weren't even offering us enough to actually fix everything. You know, that it was pretty gross. And why? Because that's what they do. They're adjusters, and these insurance companies, they don't work for you. They don't care about you. They just care about collecting your premium every single month. That's all they ever care about. Nothing else. To you, you're just a number. You're nobody. And that's why they try to railroad you. And that's why you've got to call the lawyers that know the laws, because you and I do not know the laws. And then they start running circles around you, and that's because they can. Well, Dan and Jeff, they ran circles around them. Okay, they even got one of them fired and everything. Call Welton Rayom. They're in Hollywood. You don't even have to go to their office. You can call them for a free consultation. You got some damage going on right now. You live in a condo. Somebody else's water damage went into your condo, or something happened. Before you call any of the insurance companies, you call Welt and Rayom first. They will send their adjusters over to protect you, because the insurance adjusters, boy, they're going to lowball the hell out of you. 954-966-4646. Save this number on your cell phone. Call Jeff. Call Dan right now. 954-966-4646 for Welt and Rayom. All right. Zion was in great shape starting this season, Big O. Wasn't his conditioning? Well, maybe the conditioning got worse and worse and worse as he kept going through the drive-thrus. Let's see. What else do we have? Big O, all the adjusters do care, FYI. Big O, not all the adjusters. Some do care, FYI. Yeah, but the ones that are working for those insurance companies, they don't give a shit. They want to make sure they do it well for their insurance company so they keep working for their insurance companies. So you're not really going to look out for the customer because you don't work for them. You work for the insurance company. So, and man, I saw it firsthand. So, I saw how they were trying to railroad us and I saw what, Dan and Jeff did, and they just crushed those dudes. Let's see. Philly dominated the time of possession in the first half, gave up a large number of big plays in the second, allowing Mahomes and KC too much free reign. Well, that's that the game is played on offense, on defense, on special teams, coaching on the sidelines, all these kind of things. That's how you win this game, by making sure you make the right calls in the sidelines, by making sure that you make the plays you're supposed to make on defense and on special teams. You can't allow Tony to make that return. There you go. That's kind of part of the game. Kansas City was the better team last night, and they ended up making the plays they had to make in order to win. And they're the ones that came back, and the Eagles could not answer the bell, and they weren't scoring enough points with the offense that they did have. And they're lucky because, as you said, the time of possession, I wrote it down, my friend, 35-47 to 24-13. So you dominated by over 11 minutes, and yet you couldn't win the game. And that's because you made the mistake on special teams. You made the mistake on the fumble. And these are the things that you end up paying the price. And then your big bad defense, well, hey, man, you didn't force the turnovers. I'm sorry. Your defense can't be such big bad boys all throughout the year, and then when it comes to the biggest game of the year, you don't come up with the sacks and you don't come up with the interceptions. I mean, that's what you got to do, bro. You got to come through, and they did not come through at all. So credit goes to the Kansas City Chiefs. They found a way to win that game. That's the only that I'm going to give them the credit for making the plays. And Philadelphia, by the way, where there are a lot of crimes going on in Philadelphia last night. I hope they acted like, I know they weren't acting like decent human beings from the beginning because they were already overturning cars. Really baffling, but whatever. Like, what does that do for you? You know what I'm saying? And what we watched yesterday, the Slipper Bowl, is that what it was? Right? The Slipper Bowl? Boy, that was bad. I saw a lot of slipping in that game. Holy moly. The turf guy did not get good reviews for that one. And you know that guy's like one of the best, but he did not have a good day yesterday. All right, let's get ready for hour number 2. I got to talk about the halftime show with Rihanna. I find an interesting twist to that Rihanna thing. We'll get to it also. I do got to get into Tua's Super Bowl week at Radio Row. I'll give you my thoughts on the interviews that I saw and the decision that he and his team made. We definitely got to get into that. Jets inquiring about Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr sticking the middle finger to the Raiders. I mean, there's a lot of things going on that we still got to talk about too on the program. All right, don't forget you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show at Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. Always appreciate it. And don't forget you can make a Bitcoin donation too through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. Bitcoin's at 21,674. I'm not going to get into a lot of the Bitcoin talk or any kind of crypto. Markets are up Dow Jones up 281 points. The S&P's up 35. So things are moving, man. Moving. All right. So there you go. All right, let's take a break. Let's get ready for hour number 2 of the Big O Radio Show. It is next, powered by the one and only Sean Stanley.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Hey, alrighty. By the way, Alex Palenzuela, thank you, sir, for the love on the Venmo, Cash App, or Venmo Cash Big O Show. He says, what a good game between the Chiefs and the Eagles. It was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it myself. I am 100% with you. And I know that, the finish was, I guess, bothersome for some, but I did not have a problem with it. And you can rewind, and I thoroughly spoke about that, and we'll get into other things here on the show here in the second hour of the program. Let's get into a little bit of Rihanna, okay, in halftime. And I talked about this the other day, and not to get too political in all this, but the world is trying to become the world is becoming more liberal, and yet the world is also trying to become more accepting of everyone. Okay, we have women in Arab countries they want to take the veil off because they've been hidden and a second citizen forever, and this is part of the movement. You see it in China, that people are protesting and putting their lives on the line, and they're not conforming like they've done in the past, and so in our world, and one of the things that I give a lot of credit to young people, these younger generations, and I don't give the younger generations a lot of credit because there's a lot of their things that are annoying, but some of the one thing that I'll give the Generation Zs and the millennials, these last two generations that have come out, is they're more accepting of each other. Colors, race, religion, sexuality, all of that. All you got to do is watch them. And, there's more of it than there ever was in prior generations. Okay. Especially my generation and older. My God. I've seen it, know it, watch it. A lot of people with biases, all kinds of biases. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the theme yesterday was, about two black quarterbacks, being there. You know what I'm saying? And a woman performing at halftime that was pregnant. And so this bothers some. You know what I mean? Because I got it on my DM. It's like the weirdest thing in the world. Like, if she knew she was pregnant, why did she do this? And it's like, okay, so it's got to be J-Lo and Shakira. And, it's got to be incredibly sexual in order for it to be, a good performance. And sometimes you got to respect people for what they're doing. And the fact that she is pregnant, the fact that she's putting her family first, you know what I mean? That's important to her at this moment. And it didn't take away from the performance. I don't really watch her like I watch Bruno Mars. You see what I'm saying? I don't watch her like I watch Justin Timberlake. I'm trying to think of who's the female counterpart that's like this. Like, Beyonce has choreographed and all that, but it's not Pink. There we go. I don't go see Rihanna like I would see. Oh, let me add a little caveat to it. A younger Pink, okay? Because this Pink now is not doing the stuff she used to do in the past, the acrobatic stuff and all over the place and all that. There are performers that you're going there to also watch them not just sing but perform. Because Justin Timberlake has got some moves. Nobody's better than Bruno Mars on the goddamn planet when it comes to moves. The only guy that was better is dead, and his name is Michael Jackson. So I go see, and if you go see younger Pink, for those of you that remember, you're going to see a woman that's going to belt out one hell of a performance because of her voice. But then athletically, you saw something freakish out there at times. You know what I'm doing all kinds of acrobatic stuff that you're like, holy crap, man, Pink is damn, dude. And for those of you that don't know, just go back and watch it. So some of us, we go see some entertainers because they're also going to entertain us, not just vocally. What with Rihanna, I was fine with what she did. I thought it was classy. I thought she sung her songs. I thought it was fantastic how they did it with all the different levels, and that one close up, you could tell that thing shakes, bro. And even though she's tied, you still have to keep your composure. You're also pregnant, so you've got to perform and act like it's not affecting you, which it's got to affect you that you're up there in the air a little bit. You know what I'm saying? No matter, I'm not necessarily a guy afraid of heights, but at that moment when, billions are watching and you're hung up in the air in the middle of a stadium and all that, there still has to be something in your mind. So I give her credit for the choreography. I give her credit for, doing it. You know what I'm saying? And she sung a lot of the songs that even us on the fringe, that we might not be like the biggest Rihanna fans and we know all her songs and every word, but I knew several of her, mostly in the second half, I will admit. Okay, the second half of the songs are the ones that I am more used to be quite honest, but I still had zero issue with it. I thought it was done in a very classy fashion. And that's what I liked about it, actually. I thought it was cool. Okay, so you're pregnant, you don't have a ton of mobility, but you still actually showed a ton of performance with all the other dancers, And I also love the fact that it didn't matter what you looked like. And that because of the way you just had to dance. Didn't matter your sexuality, it didn't matter any of that because the garb kind of made everybody look equally too. And I kind of like that message too at the same time. You know what I mean? Nobody really stood out from everybody. The only one that stood out was and should be Rihanna, you know, but it's just there was a lot of the theme last night about, accepting and those kind of things. And we have a problem in this world. We have a problem with certain parts of our society that people are not accepting. And whether you like it or not, that's the direction we're going in. Okay? Whether you like it or not. Some of you that are older, you knew Rock Hudson was gay, but you only talked about it in the closet. You know? That's not the way of the world anymore. Okay? People they're now open about their sexuality and they're being accepted for it. And again, the accomplishments of minorities. Okay. Well, then if you haven't been put down forever, then you don't realize what it feels like, the redemption to rise. Just ask the entire Jewish culture. They suffered something that is the ultimate, for lack of a better term, put down when they obliterated and killed millions and millions. So when they get to fight off the Nazis and they get to fight off all this crap that's gone on and they rise above it, there's redemption to it. There's redemption for the Black community. There's redemption for women who have been crapped on all their lives and you can't vote and you got to stay in the kitchen and stay barefooted and this and that. And so now they're superstars and CEOs and in the government and all of these things. And the problem is when you're not part of one of those types of cultures or groups of individuals that have been put down, you don't understand and you don't connect. And then some of you don't accept, And it's funny because I saw a commercial that was religious, right? And then, it's saying, well, accepting of all, but then when I see the gay community and I see religion clash, well, it's not nearly as accepting as it really should be. You say one thing, but you do something else. And so I don't know what it is, if it's because Rihanna was Black, if it's because she is pregnant, if it's whatever. But there's just this need to fight it and to not be accepting and not be respectful of others' accomplishments and their fight for their right, for an opportunity, for anything like that. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden we're slamming Rihanna for a performance that I thought was fantastic. I thought she did a terrific job. Is it different than a Bruno Mars performance? Of course it is. Is it going to be different than Kiss at a bridge with explosions and all the kind of, yeah, it's going to be completely different than that. I don't have a problem. I've enjoyed all kinds. I remember they killed the Paul McCartney one. Well, I freaking love Paul McCartney. I have no problem with it. I thought last year's was absolutely awesome, except for 50 Cent. I thought he didn't really belong there with the rest of them. But outside of that, everybody else, I thought it was actually a really cool event. And, it's just, and whether you like it or not, okay, because I'm a rock metalhead at heart, we're going to see less rock and less metal and those kind of things down the line because it's not nearly as mainstream as what you've been watching lately. But I get it. Those of you that are probably hardcore rock and metal, you're not accepting of another genre of music. So you didn't give Rihanna a chance because you don't like her music. You didn't give Rihanna a chance because she was pregnant. You didn't give Rihanna a chance because she didn't have skin showing all over the place. Like when you watch her celebrate in Barbados when she's the honorary whatever that is of the parade and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And she is scantily clad at that moment, because you've seen her scantily clad at that moment. But to me, it's just one of those things where I just wish people would be a little bit more accepting of somebody that's different than you, That's all. So that's my take on the halftime show on why it ignites so many in so many different directions, from the person to the genre to the pregnancy to whatever, you know what I mean? Just elicits all kinds of just ridiculous stuff. Anyway. What else do we have? Springsteen's halftime show. I love Springsteen, but to a time, how many people don't like Springsteen? Doesn't do anything for them. My wife will tell you, yeah, he's all right. And I'm sitting there going, what do you mean he's all right? That's the effing boss, man. But that's, that's the difference. It's the way it goes, man. We're all different in a way, but I just felt the people killing her with just crazy stuff, man. Let's see. I'm not a Rihanna fan, but I thought she did well. Lots of baby boomers most likely wouldn't like a Rihanna performance. Yeah, whatever. The problem is if you vocalize that you did enjoy the performance, you're automatically labeled racist, sexist, etc. I just thought it was boring. Doesn't mean I don't like her personally, right? Well, then that's fine. And plenty of people are like that don't like her music, Best commercial in a runaway was the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer. The movie is going to make billions. Your boy Trump didn't like, well, you know where that's coming from. That's only coming from one place with that guy. And, he's got his little fanatical base that will follow that, So, yeah. Pat in Nashville said, you two had the greatest Super Bowl halftime show. The 9/11 tribute was absolutely moving. Prince is a close second. Both were phenomenal. Prince in the Rain, he's probably always going to be the number one, when it's all said and done. So what it is. Let's see. Is it true she performed for free? Yeah, they all perform for free. They all perform for free. You don't get paid for the halftime show, but you get paid because Rihanna's downloads went up last night, I'm sure. She probably sold some records, and she probably sold some t-shirts and stuff off her website and things like that. And then she got all that free pub all over the world on top of all of that. So she ends up getting paid in other ways, but the exposure is priceless. You just saw Pat in Nashville say, U2 had the greatest Super Bowl halftime performance. The 9/11 tribute was absolutely moving, which is true. And then he said Prince is a close second. And look at what he's saying. He's still remembering those performances from years ago. And that's what that halftime show does for you, that also people will remember that performance for years to come. Just like Whitney Houston's, national anthem is one that we will always remember. Those of us that lived it and watched it, it was one of those like, oh my God, because, Whitney's voice was so amazing, dude. She was so gifted. What a shame, man. What a real shame. But that performance with her will last forever. Everybody says when it comes to national anthems, that one is the best, and I agree. By the way, the Babyface started off slow. The America the Beautiful. I didn't like the beginning of it, but then as it kept going, it grew on me, actually. So I got to give Babyface a little love there, because I wasn't giving it a lot of love right at the beginning, because it was kind of I don't know, it was a little too mellow and stuff, but then it kind of picked up and it had a nice little groove overall, and I thought he did a decent job. It's just it's a hard thing, man. Your words about marginalization are important. Thank you. And yes, millennials have a lot to teach us about acceptance. Millennials and Generation Zs are way more accepting than all these other older generations. Because I know my generation and older, boy, we got a lot of racist people, man, bro, and they're still racist to this day, dude. So yeah. Yeah, unfortunately. Apple Music paid her for a documentary for her experience. Yeah, but that's not the Super Bowl. The NFL didn't pay her. Apple Music paid $50 million for the halftime show. I believe I believe that's the figure, $50 million per year. I keep hoping we get Metallica at halftime, but I think that train has left the station. Yeah, by now. I could see a Star Spangled Banner with Metallica, but probably not a halftime show at this point. They might be the last. Them and Foo Fighters might be the last two rock bands that you can do a halftime show with. There's not a lot left rock-wise that's going to really translate over as mainstream as possible. Metallica has. My God, how Metallica has made themselves mainstream is so amazing. It really is super impressive. Prince had the greatest Super Bowl show. U2 was second. Dr. Dre third. That's what Horn Dog says. Steve says, I'm with Mrs. O. I'm not a Springsteen fan either. Yeah, I mean, right? To each his own. Meanwhile, I praise at the altar of Bruce Springsteen. So I'm completely the opposite. I freaking love Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen to me is an American treasure, man. That's just one of the greatest lyricists ever. His songs, his words, they got a crap ton of meaning, man. They burn right through you. Big O, I will always remember that Whitney Houston performance of the national anthem, says Devin, of course. John says Foo would be amazing. They would be. Marvin Gaye, greatest anthem of all time. Okay. Rosendo says, good morning, Big O Nation. Just checking in from work. Francis Scott Key, greatest anthem of all time. Millennials are way better than Generation Z's. Acceptance of all types of people is like the only common thing we have. That's what I'm saying. It's one thing I've noticed about millennials and Generation Zs, that they are the best at accepting anyone and everyone. You know, they have shedded their ugly past from their other generations a lot faster, where our generations got poisoned by the prior generations, and act accordingly, unfortunately. But Generation Z's and millennials, man, that I will give them that. They do a terrific job of that. Let's see. Too bad we never got a chance to hear Jimi Hendrix version of the national anthem. Yeah, we did at Woodstock, and that will live on forever. Okay. And that might be the greatest anthem of all time. Edward Thurston says Judas Priest needs to be the next halftime show. Edward, you and I know that will never, ever, ever, ever happen. Okay. Metallica is the only one that's got a shot in the metal world to actually make that crossover, only because they are that kind of band that has crossed over. I don't know how, but they have done a fantastic job. Brian says, thanks, Big O, for opening people's eyes with your perspective. With that being said, I enjoyed the Janet Jackson halftime show for obvious reasons, LOL. Also, you can imagine Tom Petty playing this year. Yeah. Yeah, I had no problem with that one either. Wardrobe malfunction and all, I get it. Nickelback would be like a word, Big O. You know what? I don't have the hate for Nickelback that so many do. I don't know why Nickelback gets the hate that they get. I don't find it to be fair, actually. I think they're a decent band. I think they're a solid band, and they get this hate that I just find it to be. I know so many bands that are so much worse than Nickelback, and yet Nickelback gets this hate that I've never seen before in my life. It's the weirdest thing, dude. Really is weird. By the way, you see there the billboard for Cutter's Edge Pro. We love talking about Will and Mike, man. Listen, if you want to take your home to the next level, and I'm telling you, landscaping does it. All our neighbors drive by, and all they do is praise us for our yard, and it looks just absolutely phenomenal. And we tell you all the time about the yard and taking landscaping to the next level, which takes the value of your home to the next level. And the artificial turf is just absolutely awesome. We have artificial turf in our home, and our dogs absolutely love it. And we love it because it is so clean and pristine. That's what it looks like all the time. You're not watering it all the time. You're not cutting the grass all the time. So you're going to save thousands in the long run, as you and I know that over the years, you're going to end up spending thousands cutting grass and watering. So that's part of the process. Unfortunately, that's kind of the downer. What with artificial turf, you don't have to do that. Super easy to maintain. The dogs don't bring anything indoors, and neither do you, by the way. Because sometimes when you go to the backyard, then you got to make sure you clean your feet right, and it's still some stuff gets in there. And then guess who you hear it from? Yes, the wife. The wife tells you, hey, you didn't clean your feet well enough. I just cleaned the house. And that's what I love. The dogs come back in, they bring nothing. You come back in, you bring absolutely nothing. It's a beautiful thing. Super easy to maintain. And one of the things we've done is also created kind of an oasis in our backyard with a lot of shade, all kinds of trees. We got a special spot for the barbecue, all of that. And we even added a putting green. So it's pretty cool. We can, the wife and I on a Friday, Saturday night, we're relaxing in the backyard. We're hitting on the putting green, having some fun, having a couple drinks. It's a cool thing, man. Go to cuttersedgepro.com. Go to the Instagram page. So you can see a lot of the work that they've done. If you see one with a putting green on the side of the house, that's my house right there. Check it out, man. And the Sylvester palms, oh my God. I got to tell you, Sylvester palms are something that every neighbor that you have is going to be envious of. So make sure you get them. They're big, they're beautiful, and they provide a ton of shade. CuttersEdgePro.com. Irrigation, synthetic turf, landscape design, outdoor lighting, tree trimming and removals. They do it all. CuttersEdgePro.com. All right. And by the way, Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, all of South Florida for Cutter's Edge Pro. Nickelback is just flat out annoying like Christmas music. Horn Dog says. Karen says, I'm a millennial, and I think the younger generations are another extreme, though. They get offended way too easily, and they try to cancel those. Yeah. Again, stay on subject. I'm not talking about nothing is perfect. They have their defects, just like we do, and all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying about one thing, acceptance of others. They are better at that than prior generations. That's all. Somehow or another, people always get off subject. That's not the subject. All I said was one thing. That's it. So, let's just stay on subject. Thomas Burt, do you have any fake trees to go with the fake grass? Maybe a fake frog and a fake... No, everything else is real, Thomas, except for the artificial turf for the dogs. That's kind of the idea. Everything else, obviously, is real. Yeah. Would be kind of boring to have that fake because then the tree will never grow, Thomas. I kind of want it to grow. I kind of want all the foliage to grow a lot more and stuff like that. So, yeah, that would make no sense to have fake trees. But, you got your smart ass question in. Devin Jordan, thank you for the love on the super chat. Yes, I saw that on De La Soul. RIP to Dave, a.k.a. Trugoy the Dove, from De La Soul. He passed away at the age of 54. And he's been dealing, let me pull up, he's been dealing with health issues over the last few years. I want to say since 2000 and I think it's 10 that he's been dealing with those issues. Let me make sure before I tell you here. But, kind of sad that we lost him. Let me see here. Damn it. Did it not save right, or what's the deal here? This thing's acting funky now. I'm saving stuff, and then it's getting placed like in different spots, and then when I want to go for it, I can't end up finding it. But I know that he was dealing with issues in the past, and he was trying to get back on tour, but unfortunately he could not. Every time he would have a setback, and he wasn't able to get back on tour, and so unfortunately now we lost him. I want to say it was let me see if I can find the story for you there. I know that we've got Poopart ready to go, and you know what? I'll get to that story in a few minutes. Let me get to Alan. Let me get to Alan Poopart here first, and then I'll share that story with you guys. And
it's Cam.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cam. That's right. They switched. Poopart will be tomorrow. Cameron Wolf is today. Let's unleash the Wolf Pack.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
It was congestive heart failure, by the way, for Dave. So, unfortunately, from De La Soul. You at De La Soul?
Just dropped. Oh, he's coming back.
Cam just dropped? Okay. All right. Let's see. Do we got him now? There he is.
Oh, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Sadly, we lost Dave from De La Soul, man. 54. Damn.
That may be one that went over my head. I am not familiar.
You're not a De La Soul guy?
No, man. Is that a musician? I really don't want to sound stupid here, so I'm just gonna let you tell me who he is.
Rap?
Is that somebody? Is that
De La
somebody I should
Soul?
know? Is that somebody I should know?
Really? Wow! I'm super shocked that you don't know the rap band or group De La Soul.
No, I do not. I do not. Rest in peace to him, but yeah, I'm not familiar.
No, you have to be, bro.
I
No,
mean,
no,
maybe I've heard a song or two, and I'm
no,
just
no.
not
You've heard
familiar.
you've heard
Yeah,
several. There's
gotcha.
no freaking way.
I
There's
may just
no
not know the
way.
group. I just may not know the group's name off first hand, but maybe I've
Yeah,
heard some of their songs.
yeah, no, yeah. You gotta know De La Soul, bro. Everybody knows De La Soul. Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. Oh man, when you get off this interview, get on your iTunes, put De
Okay.
La Soul,
All right.
and hit a couple songs. You're gonna go, oh, okay. I don't want to do
That's
it
what I'm
here
saying.
now
I'm
because
sure I probably heard the songs, but when you
guaranteed.
mentioned the name De La Soul, it didn't click for me. And
Yeah,
so maybe this is my post Super Bowl brain, and I'm just not there. But I was like, look, I could tell by your reaction, you were just
yeah, no,
like
yeah,
shocked for like 2 or 3 seconds. I'm like, I
yeah.
probably should know this person or
Yeah,
this
yes,
group.
yes. Legends, legends, legends. People are saying Cam needs help. Big O was so shocked. I thought his screen froze.
Yeah. I need help regardless, but clearly I need it after after not recognizing the name off rip. So yeah,
You
I have a
remember?
homework
You
assignment
remember?
now.
No, somebody brought it
Now
up. Now,
on my rest of my afternoon, it's a nice day out. I'm gonna drive with De La Soul playing in my
me,
car.
myself,
And
and
so
I. Me, myself,
okay,
and I.
yeah.
You don't know that song, Me, Myself, and I?
I don't know it off name.
Wow.
Like I said, you got to realize, one, I am 29 years old, so there are some things that I may have missed that I probably shouldn't have missed.
Yeah, but you know
Just
LL Cool J, and you know
yes,
Run DMC, and you
yes,
know
yes.
Snoop, and
I
that
do know these people.
these guys are in that plateau. They're right there, like, just maybe a slight notch under those legends there, but
So
they
so
are
so do this.
like,
So who's
oh my
are
god.
there? Were they always a group, or were there any individuals?
No,
Who are
no,
the
no.
individuals?
They've always been a group. Yeah, they've
Okay,
always been.
gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. Trust me. You when you listen to them, you're gonna go, oh shit. You're gonna go, wow. Yeah, it's good. It's gonna become a band now. You're going to want to get into is what
Gotcha.
it is. What it is. They're so good,
That's what I said.
dude.
I've
Oh,
probably heard them. Like I've listened to a lot of 90s. Like I'm guessing this is 80s, 90s rap,
80s,
right?
90s. Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. More 90s, 2000s rap for me. I probably missed the 80s, given I was born in '93. But I try to listen back to some older eras, but that one I probably heard, but it's not one I have in my music selection. I don't have any De La Soul saved on my phone, and so maybe I got to change that.
Yeah, you will now. You will now. And Buddy is a great song. Okay. Tread
Yeah.
Water is another great song. I mean, just De La Soul is just, oh my God. That
Yeah.
I'm telling you, dude,
Okay.
when you start listening to it, you're gonna
That's
go,
that's
wow,
that's my
okay.
homework assignment. The season's over, and so I need things to do. And now
I,
my
I
first homework assignment is listening to De La Soul.
I think this is just going to be a slight refresher course for you because
Okay.
you're gonna listen to it, you're gonna go, oh yeah, man, I've heard this one and I've heard this one.
Yeah.
That's who they are. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna go, all right, let me delve more into this catalog and start to find out a little bit more about De La Soul. And then
Gotcha.
you'll just damn, you'll go.
What style? What style is it?
Um it's Diggable Planets. Oh God. Do you know Diggable Planets? No?
No. I feel like you keep asking me people I know, and I'm gonna look worse and worse.
Wow.
And so,
Wow. Oh, you're 29 and I'm 56. So
yeah,
yeah.
but to be fair, this happens with my wife too because she has a more diverse music selection. She listens to a lot of country and pop, and so and oldies music, and so she likes to quiz me on people I know. And just like now, I often don't know these people, and so it's probably more me in my narrow view of music and who I like and who I listen to, more than just a condemnation on all 29, 30-year-olds. Because maybe the average 30-year-old guy does know them off name. Maybe it's just me.
Try these guys nailed it. Tribe Called Quest. You know them?
I do know Tribe Called Quest.
Okay.
Yes.
It's Tribe Called Quest. You know, it's
Okay,
kind of from
yeah.
that era
Yeah.
of all that. Man, what's the name of that? Help me out there. The Tennessee, that song Tennessee
Tennessee
that's
Whiskey?
not, no. It's a song called Tennessee from back in there. It's not Diggable Planets. It's somebody else, but it's kind of that era of music of what's it called? Oh, Arrested Development. Thank you. You know Arrested Development?
That's a show, right?
Oh my God.
I told you.
Oh my
This is
God.
just gonna make me look worse and worse.
Oh my God. Yeah,
Stop
dude.
asking me questions.
Arrested Development, Diggable Planets, what's it called, De La Soul. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. You have a really big hip hop void in your life. A rich, super rich hip hop void in your life that you need to fix, bro.
Okay, I guess I have to. I like
Yeah,
I don't know.
this won't be like Fast Times at Richmond High, that it didn't hold up and all that shit.
Yeah.
This holds up forever. Okay. This is
Okay.
music that,
I was like,
that
I
yeah.
feel like I have a decent '90s group rap, but maybe I'm missing a group. Like maybe I'm missing a lot of groups. I don't know.
Us Three, KMF. I love you, bro. Yes. Us Three is so good. Oh man, yes. I love Us Three. That's also a fantastic. You don't know Us Three? No, right? Oh my God, that you're missing an era
I
of
told you
rap.
this whole
awesome,
segment is
dude.
gonna be like what Cam doesn't know about music.
Yeah. Us Three.
I'm a big Nas guy. Nas is is the greatest rapper of all time to me.
Sure.
NWA, like I know '90s rap, but clearly I'm missing some groups, man.
Yeah. Oh man, Us Three was so freaking good, man. I miss those guys. What's that? I'm trying to remember that first album of theirs, Hand on the Touch. That's it, Hand on the Touch. The
Okay.
Cantaloupe. Yes, Cantaloupe. Oh, Us Three, Cantaloupe. You got to you had to have heard that song.
Maybe I have, and I just don't know them off name. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. We in Birdland this evening. I forgot how it goes, but yeah.
I clearly missed the whole, like, you could have said some things I know. You could have been talking about the Roots. You could have been talking about like
The Roots are awesome.
The Roots are awesome. Snoop, Nas,
yeah.
You know, there's a bunch of rappers here we could have went through. But clearly,
but that's a little after. That's a little after. This is that era from 80s into the 90s.
Okay.
That genre was going on. We had the New Jack stuff going on too at the same time with Guy and all that kind of stuff was going on. So that's kind of the era that we're in right there in that 80s, 90s. You know, and then we turn into Nas and all those guys after.
See, maybe that was I just missed the generation before that. Like a lot of minds is mid to late 90s into the rest of where we are now. So
right, because you're a kid, you're a child in the 90s. You know, so like that you're like right. So the late 80s to early 90s got past you a little bit because you were still too young. You know, you were still probably playing with toys still at that age.
Yeah.
When you got to like 10 or 12 or 14 is when you start really kind of growing in your music.
So for perspective here, the first rap album.
Wait a minute, Sean is
joining. I wanted to throw something in. Dougie came in and said, "Tell Cam that Nas song "Got It" is with De La Soul."
Okay, I know that song. Song. I know pretty much every Nas song. So now I can hear that. I didn't know any original De La Soul songs off rip, but now I'm thinking about that song and I can picture it. So thank you, appreciate that. That helps. Now I can recognize at least a style. Like I said, I just didn't know their name off rip, in a list of their songs. But yeah, like I said, I may have missed a void of a group. For perspective, like the first rap album I listened to that was current was Godson, Nas's Godson. My uncle put that on me. I don't know when that album came out, but everything before that I had to go back and manually listen to because it wasn't of my generation. So whatever year that album came out, everything else I had to go back and listen to. So I probably didn't go
Now,
back far.
Arrested Development, Diggable Planets, Us Three, De La Soul. You gotta, you need to delve in.
Yeah.
You need to delve in. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it, right? When you get into it, you're gonna go, wow, this is awesome. This is amazing stuff. So, all right. What'd you think yesterday of the call? I personally had my problem with it was we want to put officials in a position, and then when you put them in that position, what are you going to do? I compare it. Look, the cop is sitting on the side on the highway. Okay.
Yep.
It says 65.
Yep.
But if you go 73, 74, they're not really stopping you. But hey, bro, you went 74. And you know what? You changed lanes a little bit there, a little too irresponsibly. And he pulls you over, and you're like, man, everybody's doing the same, but he pulled me over. Yep. And to me, this guy not held once, he held twice, which is what I wish people would mention more often. He held not once, not LeBron, not one, not two. He held twice on that one. And so then if you don't call it, then you say, well, hey, bro, there was a penalty there, and he should have called it. And unfortunately, you put the guy in a position where he has to make a decision. And the decision is you clearly committed the penalty. I had no problem with the call whatsoever. Your thoughts?
I completely disagree. I have a completely different take. To me, I will take your comparison and go one step further. To me, it's like driving 70 in a 65 and getting pulled over on Christmas. And so you got to have some realistic situation of the place and time and what everybody else is doing. They weren't calling that call all game.
But they can call it. But they can't call it.
They were not called until that play. They had not called. The Chiefs were more grabsy than that on that play, and they hadn't called it all the way up into 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter on a game-changing play. And yes, there may have been a little bit of contact within the first 5 yards there, but there was not a grab in a pass that really was 10 yards over his head that really affected the result of the play. And to me, that's one where the refs became the story more than the play on the field. And I tweeted about it last night. My worry, and I think it's the case because the first question you asked me is the first question on every talk show, that call became the story of what was an amazing game. And if they swallow the whistle, it's not. Everybody's not complaining on, oh, that should have been this or should have been that. No, it's a let them play. It wasn't egregious enough. You know what's egregious and what's not. That was not an egregious call.
That was egregious. You did it twice.
It was
so you did it. So then you take to counter that is, hey, let me commit the penalty. They're not going to call a play at this moment. So then know that you could get away with cheating because that's what it is. Tugging twice on the guy is cheating, slowing him down. And by the way, it ain't slowing you down 10 yards, but it's slowing those guys down 10 yards because those guys are professionals and they're a hell of a lot faster than you and I ever will.
So I will say there was a tug. And James Bradbury did mention after the game that he did tug. So it's not like we're arguing whether or not he did grab him. I'm talking about what is enough to call a penalty. Because as we know, whether it's on the defensive side of the ball or whether it's on the offensive line, there is holding every single play. And so you could literally sit there and nitpick and say, oh, well, he's holding on this play. No, you want to let him play. We want to see the game, not the referees. You call the play when it affects the play and the direction of the game.
So then you don't call the play when it could. So you don't call the play when it could affect the game. Also,
no, you do. But that tug did not impact 1 second whether or not Juju caught that pass or not. Not at all. That ball was 10, 12 yards over his head.
You keep saying tug. It was tugs. It was two of them. He did it twice, Cam. Go back and look at it.
Trust me, I saw it. He did
Okay.
tug him, and Bradbury admitted it too. So like I give Bradbury credit because he's getting accountability. It's not like, hey, I didn't grab him at all. He knows he tugged him, but there are tugs, and I wanted to use the word tug because it was like a little grab. It wasn't a hold hand. It was a little grab of the jersey. There wasn't even any extension. You couldn't even see. Like,
it slowed him down.
If you slowed it down, you're right. If you slowed it down and zoomed in the replay, like we're get our microscopes in, you're like, you know what? It did look like he tugged him a bit. You know what? They are right. He did tug him a little bit. He tugged him twice. Maybe you're right. Maybe he tugged him twice, a little bit. I can see that. I can see what the refs are looking through their microscopes and see, but it did not affect the ball that was thrown 12 yards over his head. And so for us to be sitting here talking about that play, that is not okay. That is something that affected the Super Bowl more than letting them play. Now, the Chiefs could have still won. It was third down. They were going to kick a field goal regardless. But the difference is we got robbed out of Jalen Hurts and the Eagles potentially having a minute 30 to tie or win the game. And because of some tug. So why are we sitting here after an amazing game? It was one of the better Super Bowls I have seen in my lifetime. Like back and forth, competitive game. And the story of the game on Monday morning was it enough for holding? If it's close, you don't call it. It's just like, to me, it's like an overturn. It's like overturning a challenge. If it's close,
maybe he doesn't get it called if he only tugs once.
We'll have to disagree on that. To me, I think it was one of the softest holding calls I've seen in some time, especially on that stage, and I completely disagree with it. Not saying I think that it affected giving us the finish that we needed and we deserve to see. Now, I can't guarantee the Eagles would have won. They could have very easily lost.
They weren't scoring much in the second half anyways. They only scored 11 points.
But they did score 35 points, so they scored 5 touchdowns.
I know, but they scored it in the first half. You got to give Kansas City the defense credit in the second half. They didn't allow them to move the ball the same way in the second half.
Correct. The Kansas City defense played a lot better because the Eagles scored 24 in the first half, and they only scored 11 in the second half. So that's a big difference. But they did march down the field that last drive, and so I'm not saying they would have scored. I'm not saying the Eagles would have won. It's probably more likely than not that the Chiefs still won. But I'm saying that we didn't get the opportunity to see that ending because the refs were so obsessed with calling this tug that they hadn't been calling all game in this moment. So I'm not telling you that he didn't grab him or grab him twice. He did. But by the letter of the law, there's subjectiveness in holding because they could call it on every play. If you go back and you watch the replay, you could say, oh, well, the Chiefs offensive lineman was holding here, or the Eagles offensive lineman was holding here. The Chiefs DB was holding here. And there's a lot of plays that it wasn't called. So my issue is why was that, which was not as egregious as other plays on there, called when others had not? When this play
because
a key element of the game.
Because it became so obvious. Everybody saw that he held him twice in that play, and then you put the referee in a position like, well, I'm screwed if I don't make this call. But my ass is covered if I make the call because it was clearly holding. So that's why you kind of the sad part is Bradbury put the referee in a position where he had to make a decision. That's because he made it obvious. He couldn't even, it wasn't even a hold like where you were hip and you're trying to hide the arm behind somebody and the angle and the referee. No. It was two obvious holds because they ran that route on them a couple of times in that game and burned them every single time that they ran that route where they cut inside and went back outside again.
Absolutely. You're right. That was great. That was great game planning by Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy. They did have a lot of success on that play. And you're probably right.
And they weren't held on those other ones where they were held on.
Because they were wide open. They didn't get a chance to hold because they broke free.
That's right. And if Bradbury doesn't hold twice, he's wide open, and we don't know what happens with that catch.
So I will say that I'm a former defensive back. I played defensive back growing up, and so I'm always going to be partial to the calls. But my whole issue is not whether or not it's that he tugged him or not. I do think that he tugged him, and I might even argue that he tugged him twice. I got to go back and see. My point is, one, I didn't really see it until they slowed it down and they showed it on the replay. So that's something that it was so close and so minuscule that you had to slow it down and look it on the replay. And the second part of it is that they had not been calling that all game. They have been letting them play. It's sort of the old playground rules, right? You play basketball.
I got you.
I play basketball at 24-hour Fitness or LA Fitness, right? And the thing is, hey, I tell them, hey, if you're gonna call calls, if you're gonna call your foul, then let's call it both ways, right? Then I'm gonna call my foul. Or if you're gonna call that in the first quarter, then call it. That's fine. Keep it call in the fourth quarter. But if you're not gonna call that the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, and then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, you're gonna say, well, now it's a foul. That's what I have an issue with, especially in a big stage like the Super Bowl inside the 2-minute calls. That's something we had seen all game from both sides. Contact within 5 yards, even if there's tug, even if there's a little pushing, and not called. But in that moment, they decided to call it. They decided to make that play about them, the referees, and making a call. And now we're sitting here Monday talking for 10 minutes on this show, not about how Patrick Mahomes came back and rallied his team for the second Super Bowl and where that stacks him up among the legends and the greatest of all time. Not Jalen Hurts' great performance, kind of shutting people up about what he could and couldn't do as a quarterback. We're talking about whether or not a tug was enough, or two tugs was enough to give them an automatic first down and potentially change the outcome in this game. And that's what I have an issue with.
All right, the really important stuff. How good was Rihanna last night?
So this is interesting because I thought she was really good.
She
was really good. I'm a big Rihanna fan, and I thought it was dope. There's a lot of men's hearts broken seeing her pregnant once again because one baby, you're still old, but two babies, it's going out the window, right? But there was a lot of argument. I had a Super Bowl party, and there's women there, there's men there, and there was a whole argument after she performed whether or not it was a great performance. Because obviously, because she was pregnant, she was not having a lot of movement, right? And so I understood that. I haven't been pregnant, but I know that.
Here's the thing. Here's my problem with that. Here's my problem with that thinking.
Go ahead.
Here's my problem with that thinking.
Yeah.
When we go see Bruno Mars, Justin Timberlake, or Pink, we go for also the entertainment side. Not only are they great singers, but dancers or athleticism. Pink does the younger Pink. She did some, I don't know if you ever went to any of her concerts. No. She did some athletic shit that was crazy, hanging up above the stage, upside down, all kind, like some stuff. Rihanna and Beyonce and they have some choreography, but we're not really going for J-Lo's dancing or whatever. We're going for their well, not J-Lo, but for Rihanna and for Beyonce, we're going for their singing and the whole stage performance itself. So if people are like, oh, well, she's pregnant, dude, she looked classy. She did a really good job. It's really difficult what she was doing, hanging up there in the air. By the way, really, you can see that she's shaking while she's performing when they had the close-up. So to me, she's not that kind of performer that we go out there and we're going to go wowed by her dancing and her movements. That's not really what her performance is all about. There are certain performers that do that kind of stuff, like I mentioned. So to me, that was like a reach by people. I just think those people, they wanted the sexuality. They wanted the skin. They wanted the skin of J-Lo and Shakira, of a couple of years ago.
A lot of men. You're saying a lot of men, obviously.
Exactly. And Rihanna is super sexy when she's in Barbados. You know what I'm saying? When she's heading her parade in Barbados and you see her scantily clad, she couldn't do it because she was pregnant. But I love the way they offset that. And the performance came from everybody else and the choreography and everything else. I thought it was super cool, and I thought they used their imagination to actually pull off a great performance, actually.
Absolutely. I thought it was phenomenal. I thought the choreography was really good. I thought the whoever designed the show flow of it and the camera angles was great, and she was so comfortable in her setting. Talk about being pregnant. Look, I had a lot of wings last night, a lot of drinks. I could not, when I got to the gym this morning, it took me a while to do 13 minutes straight of anything. And I am not pregnant. I just had wings and drinks, and so for her to be pregnant, doing what she did, I mean, obviously it wasn't a lot of movement, but she did do some movement. And she's moving between songs and keeping it flowing. And let's just keep it 100. Rihanna has never been this great dancer person anyway. So I'm not sure if they were expecting her to turn into these people. That's never been her thing. Like she's not Alicia Keys at the piano, but she's that's not her forte. Her forte is her singing, her flow, her swag, and everything she does outside of her music.
Bruno Mars has a broken leg. You're gonna
Yeah,
walk away. Shit, dude, this sucks. I mean, he sounded great, but damn, he couldn't dance. And
yeah,
why? Because Bruno Mars can dance his ass off.
right,
So he's going to wow you with all kinds of moves. That's why you go to a Bruno Mars concert, not just for his singing, but also the entertainment side. So to me, that was the big crap that a lot of people threw out there when she's not really much of a dancer. Like, oh my God, look, did you see the moves on Rihanna? No, dude, these are the moves you want to see on Rihanna. That's it.
I'm
Please.
listening to her. I'm listening to her voice, and because to me, Rihanna's an artist, and although like she's a lot richer and makes a lot more business than a lot of folk, but she's to me was more relatable than a lot of these R&B artists because of how she carries herself, her swag, her flow, her music. That to me is a great appeal of Rihanna. Like, let's be fair. Like, Beyonce is great and she has her beehive, and I do not want to get any beehive people upset at me. But Beyonce is like, she's the queen. She's heads and shoulders above like the where she stands on the stage. It just kind of feels like she's different than everyone else. Whereas Rihanna, she's always felt like one of us, even though she's been all of that. And so to me, I come to see everything Rihanna is, not what she's not. And to me, what we saw with her being pregnant and her performance, I saw exactly what I thought I was going to see from Rihanna, even if she wasn't pregnant. Maybe a little less movement, but to me, I was really impressed. I thought it was a great halftime show. The other thing is a lot of people love the guest performance. So everybody was like waiting desperately to see who she's going to bring out. Is it going to be Jay-Z? Is it going to be Eminem? And so there's probably a little bit of disappointment that it was no one. But Rihanna's a big enough artist to carry this show on her own, and I don't think she needed anyone to come out with her.
Dude, her catalog, she doesn't need it. She was fine. She did a great job yesterday. She played a lot of her big hits too. I thought she did a fantastic job overall. I have zero issue with it. What I like is I like variety. And so we saw several different rappers last year. Now we saw an entertainer. I've seen rockers in the past. I've seen all kinds. And that's what I think you just got to keep doing. Just keep being diverse and keep adding different types of acts. And so as long as it kind of goes with it. Hey, the good thing is when I saw it at the beginning, I go, hey, at least they don't have to worry about a wardrobe malfunction in this one because everybody's covered up. You know what I'm saying? And that's all. By the way, I also love that they made all the dancers were the same. Because of the garb that they wore, it didn't matter if you were male or female, straight or bi or gay or black or white or brown or yellow or green or whatever, or tall or short or maybe a little thicker or a little skinnier. And that was kind of cool. That I loved how the whole image was to kind of bring everybody together and look equally, and the act around her looked completely equal all around. I thought that was actually pretty cool.
Absolutely. I'm with you. I am completely with you there.
All right. So what are you doing this week, Slacker?
I am heading to hang with the family this week. So we're flying to Philly tonight. I got some family and friends there. So we're going to spend a day there and then going to Washington, D.C., showing baby girl some of the capital, and then stopping up in New York and spending a day up there before coming back here. So going to spend a week up north. I prefer the sun, but my wife wants a little bit of winter, which I don't get, but more power to her. So we're gonna give her a week of winter, and then the next week we're
skiing.
No, because we got the baby girl with us, and she's not 2 years old, so she's not gonna be at that level yet. But we're gonna do a week up north in the Northeast, spend a weekend back here, and then my parents are coming in town, so my wife and I can go to Puerto Rico for a week, which is what I'm excited for. The actual warmth, so we'll spend a week out there. So a couple of weeks of just hanging with the fam, doing a little vacation, and then back into combine season. So trying to squeeze in a little.
Puerto Rico is fine. Yeah, boy, that is a fun place, bro. Absolutely. So you'll enjoy yourself there. By the way, did you have any issue? Up in Adams is the show on your network, right?
No, that's separate now. So
Where's that where's Up and Adam or whatever is that thing? Where's
I'm
that?
not sure. I'm not sure if it's an Amazon Prime show or something like that. It's something that's
Right.
completely streaming. Because Kay used to be on Good Morning Football, but now she's
Right.
doing her own thing. So she's not with us anymore directly.
I by the way, what'd you think of Tua canceling the rest of his interviews? I thought most of them were actually incredibly lame. I probably would say that Up and Adams probably did the best one of them all. But
she's very.
It looked like a waste of time for him, to be quite honest. But your thoughts?
Kay's very good at getting people to open up and not making it feel like it's a forced interview, right? Like the reality of Radio Row is everybody's getting there trying to sell something, right? And so as you see, Tua's got these big Subway signs, and every part of the question has something to do with Subway, and so he's obviously getting a lot of money from Subway. Subway's making herself very known, and then he's doing this, answering football questions as he has to, right? And so it's not something where you're going to have the most authentic or open conversation with Tua about football, about concussions, about life. It's really just going to be something that's a sponsored deal. And so I've never been a huge fan of the Radio Row interviews. I understand why, because you're getting stars to kind of open up, and you're getting stars to talk, stars who haven't talked in a while, right? But that's why I prefer, like, I've done Pro Bowl the last 2 years. I enjoy doing Pro Bowl because guys are in a relaxed setting. I'm not having to talk sponsorships of Subway or a shaving company or anything. I'm just getting some of the stars to open up to me, period. And so I always get more out of Pro Bowl than I think people do in Radio Row. As far as Tua's interview, I think, him mentioning that he's going to do judo is something that we kind of already knew that he was going to work on trying to fall. Now we heard that, hey, he's going to do it on a Friday, and what the actual martial arts he's going to do. Ideally, that's something that helps him stay healthy. I think that's something that's going to be important for the offseason. Him saying that the Dolphins kept him out of concussion protocol essentially to make sure he's fully healthy and that he liked that. That's something that I think is notable, but like at the end of the day, does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? No. So yeah, I don't know that there was a lot that came out of that was newsy, but I think for most people, just hearing Tua talk is something that moved the needle for them. So I didn't get a lot out of it, but maybe fans did, which is good for them.
Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf and try to catch him in Puerto Rico when he's out there in a couple of weeks. Cam, as always, appreciate you, my brother. We'll catch up later.
Do not catch me out in Puerto Rico. I will be in probably in a state where I am not wanting to talk with people because I am relaxing. I am decompressing from the season with my wife. So if you see me, we'll wave and keep it moving.
Right now, when you hang up with us, De La Soul, Me, Myself, and I, put it on right now, and you're going to go, oh, dude, I've heard this 8 billion times. Watch.
I'll do it right now.
All right. Here we go. The Wolf Pack has been unleashed.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
Hour number 3 of the program. We are ready to rock and roll. I can't believe he doesn't know De La Soul. Diggable Planets, Arrested Development, Us 3. I can't believe it. I mean, wow. I'm floored. Absolutely floored. What is going on there?
What happened?
I don't know.
Oh no! I just jumped on because I tweeted something out while you were on the call there with the interview with Cam. You know, you guys were talking about, they're taking on Denver tonight. Looks like it's a healthy team. Everything's smooth. Tyler Hero is now listed as doubtful for the Heat for tonight's game against Denver.
Hurry up, bet Denver. How the Heat are favored by 1.5 is amazing to me. Oh God, it's a joke. The NBA has got a real problem, dude. It's not a Heat thing. This is an NBA thing. God, it's terrible, bro. Anyway, early Madonna, ultimate performer. Yeah, she was actually a very good performer. You are correct. And you used to go to her shows also for not for her just her songs and her music, but for the performance. You are correct. You are correct. Did you see the Dan Le Batard interview with Tua? Yes. All right. Let's get into Tua listen. I watched most of I think I saw all the interviews that were posted with Tua. Pretty much most of them were lame, you know. You didn't really learn a damn thing from it. It was kind of awkward, the subway thing that he had to do. Tua's not really the guy to, because he's kind of a straight and narrow, not kind of, he is a straight and narrow guy. So he's not really going to be Mr. Personality, and I don't mean anything bad by it, but that's just not his thing. It's like Russell Wilson. It's, Tim Tebow. They're not really going to have these kind of personalities that are going to try to connect with people and all that kind of stuff because they're so reserved. Derek Jeter, did you see Derek Jeter in the Super Bowl? Oh, what'd you like? Oh, I don't know. This is kind of out of my, and I'm like, get used to it. Get used to a guy that they're going to bring on that has no freaking opinion. It's like, why do you bring people on this way? It's like, if you can't do the job, then don't hire them, dude. You know what I'm saying? And certain guys, they really shouldn't be an analyst or anything, because if they can't critique what's going on, then it's not really going to help. You just can't be kissing everybody's ass because everything's not great. I love the Heat to death. I love Pat Riley. I love the Harrison family. They're fantastic. But I'm going to tell you, they've lost their fastball lately. They have made a bunch of bad decisions lately. And the coaching and everything, they've still been able to actually make some noise in the playoffs, which has been amazing. But I credit that to the coaches. But the front office and the ownership group, they haven't done a good enough job lately. They could have done a lot better. And they've done a lot of bad decisions. You got to be objective about this. You know what I'm saying? If not, you can't do the job. And, I saw Derek Jeter yesterday, like, well, I don't know. It's kind of out of my wheelhouse, this, that, whatever. What, did you live under a freaking rock, bro? Just make a pick. Who gives a shit? You're so worried about pissing somebody off? Don't do this job because you're going to piss people off. That's the way it goes. Everybody wants to hear good about themselves, but then when they disagree with you, then that's the part that you don't want to hear. Sorry, but that's kind of the way it goes. This is the game we play. So, it's digital. I thought it was diggable. It's digital. How come? What did I say? Diggable. Is it? Damn. My bad. Oh, dude, it's diggable planets. Yeah, it's diggable planets. Why you do this to me? You trying to screw with me? It's diggable planets, bro. Not digital. If you're going to correct me, information, man.
I'm saying diggable planets, digital underground, right?
Right, it is digital underground, yes, but it is diggable planets. Okay, just this dude here is trying to correct me, and he doesn't know it himself. Probably doesn't even know the music. Anyway, yeah, I got it, Red. It's the other guy we got to correct. He thinks it's digital. Oh, how do you like Madonna's new look? Oh, it is fantastic. She looks so hot. And to think I was back in the day, oh my God, in the 80s, I loved Madonna. Oh, I love Madonna. I thought she was an absolute and total smoke show back in those days. Man, yes, big time. For a player who's only 23, Tyler Hero misses a lot of games. How come we don't consider him injury prone? No, he is injury prone. He is injury prone. Definitely injury prone. What you drinking there? Flipper, what do you think? I'm drinking whiskey and, all kinds of, I don't know. It's doused with all kinds of liquor and drugs and everything because that's what you guys want to hear. I never understand that. Yes, go ahead.
No, they wait 30 more minutes, you start slurring. It's almost that time of the show.
Yeah, exactly. Just gotta wait to have another swig or two. And then I have a swig or two. Ready to rock. Let's see. Madonna now looks like the cockroach guy from Men in Black, the first movie. Anyway, let me get back to Tua. All right, so Tua ends up canceling the rest of his interviews on Radio Row. I watched them all. I watched Lebitard's interview, which was, listen, Lebby and the guys, they do all kinds of wacky shit. They love uncomfortable radio. That's kind of what a thing that they do, right? And obviously a lot of silliness. People love that shit, dude. That show's a monster. It's got a hell of a following, okay? And they like that. Is it my style? No, it's not my style, okay? Was it kind of silly? If you died, you would have sued Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins for murder or whatever, and just silly shit. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Just silly bullshit. But that's kind of what they do. That's who they are. You know what I'm saying? But it was a terrible interview overall. And I saw all the other ones, and they were, without naming names, lame, terrible, up in Adams. I guess it was a little bit more of a lively conversation, but not really any substance in there. And not that I'm expecting that much substance, but this is why I told you guys, and he even mentioned that he could have been ready for the Pro Bowl, but he was like, well, the next football activity I'm going to do is not Dolphins related. So it was more about being, the next football activity be a Dolphins related thing. But I told you guys, why would he want to go to the Pro Bowl anyways? Because it's all going to be about one question, the concussions. The Yahoo guy started off like, okay, what's the one question you're tired of asking so we could get out of the way? And then he mentioned the concussion thing. But all the interviews were lame. They really provided no insight. They weren't really helping Tua. Okay? So I'm glad he canceled all the interviews, including the Florio one, because Florio and Sims don't deserve the interview anyway. They've been bashing the kid for a couple of years now, and now you want to bring him on and, act all chummy with him and all that kind of stuff and, downplay how negative you've been towards the kid and all that. And remember, we got a lot of people like those guys who were wrong about Tua, but now since they were wrong that he couldn't play and now he can play, well, now they'll jump on the injury thing. And that's all that it was going to be. So you're just better off doing one interview where you address the concussion thing and you move on. And everybody gets the one answer and you turn the corner and you just move forward. You know what I mean? Because whether it was Adams talking about, well, are you looking at things different? Like, are you going to, because you're a father? And everybody wants to like scare you into retirement. They make it sound like he's the first guy with a couple of concussions. There's been lots of guys that have had a couple of concussions in a season. And then they went on to play and have a terrific career. And there's a guy in Sidney Crosby who plays hockey, which is an incredible contact sport. And he's had 7, 8, 9, 10 concussions in his damn career. And he's headed to the Hall of Fame. He was gaining nothing from those interviews. His sponsor, Subways, got nothing against Subways, like Subway subs, eat them all the time. I don't think they were gaining anything from this either. And Tua isn't really the game show type. You know what I'm saying? This is not who, you take over doing that. You need to have like a more outgoing personality and to get people involved and get them excited, and you've got to add excitement to it and all that. And that's just not his thing. And then at the same time, deep down inside, he knows that he's going into those interviews and he's expecting the concussion question over and over and over again. And it can only be so much that you can take as a human being, because it's the same question over and over again. Or then they get to some ridiculous extremes like the guys on Levy's show did. I thought you guys were, maybe you should sue him for murder if you died and this and that. And half the section of that, I don't really watch that show, so I don't know where they stand. But apparently, after watching the show and watching that interview and watching Levitard after, he was pointing out like half of them were really quiet, and I would imagine that half was the half that was like Tua can't play or whatever, and so now they're quiet because he's there and they can't, and since they've been bashing him the whole time or something, I don't know. That's kind of the impression I got. I'm not exactly sure. I might be jumping to some conclusions on that when I don't watch the show, so I don't know which one of them, if any of them, were bashing him. It seems like those guys were bashing because they wanted no part of the interview. You know what I'm saying? But none of the interviews were any good, to be quite honest. That's all. And I had no problem with him canceling the rest of the interviews. And whoever is butthurt, whatever. Yes, sir.
No, what? Hold on, man. I had a ear problem. I forgot to turn on the mic. What did you think of when you heard, because you were the one saying, if you were the Dolphins, this is going back to the season, that you would hold them out the rest of the season. They asked him why the protocols took so long, and he said they didn't even start the protocols until the season ended. The 2 weeks during the game, he said that they had not even,
because they had no intentions on playing.
No intentions. I found that was like one of the only things where I was like, just because he was tired of hearing about the protocol thing, he was just like, look, Dolphins, we didn't even start he's like, I think he said he wanted to play, but the Dolphins were not going to even start until after the protocol.
His crazy ass would have played the week after, dude. That's what his crazy ass did. But he's like, we have no intentions, and I'm glad the Dolphins did that. There's no reason to play him this year. He's done enough. He's put himself enough at risk. Now he needs to move on and turn the corner. And I think we talked about this already, the judo stuff. I took judo for a few years when I was in private school. And it does teach you how to fall. And it has stuck with me forever. It helped me when I was skiing once, that I almost water skiing, and they were dropping me off on the coast, right? As I was skiing, they were dropping me off where you would ski right into, like the lower and the shallow part, and then you're right there at the base of the beach, that kind of stuff. And I ended up hitting some rocks, and it ended up catapulting me forward. And in catapulting me forward, I then did the somersault to then kind of break my fall. And that all came from judo. And when I stopped, there was like this rock that was right there. When I rolled over and I was able to brace myself, it was a rock. Another time, I was snow skiing. And I remember that I was on it's yellow, green, and then blue, right? And then it's black and then double black, right? Or is there a double blue or something like that? I know it was like it wasn't on a black or a double black. I did a double black, and my God, I almost got myself killed. But it was kind of testy. I don't know, maybe it might have been blue, or maybe I don't know if there's another level before black. And I was, going back and forth, cutting sideways, lifting snow and all that kind of stuff. And in one where I ended up falling, and again, I broke my fall by being able to spin my body. And when I stopped at a log that was in front of me. And that's because I didn't fall where I was like completely out of control. I was trying to break my fall by turning over and doing the things that I learned in judo years ago. So this will help him. Now, it's not going to help you. That last concussion, judo ain't going to help you on that one because you were already off balance and you were going to land the way you were going to land. You weren't really going to have a chance to roll on that one. So it's not going to help you in every case, but there are cases where, I've caught myself where you're going to trip and you're going to fall, but you're already bracing for the fall because you're getting ready to roll. And these are things that you do learn in judo. And it has stuck with me, and it's something natural for me for the rest of my life. Again, I'm not going to tell you every time you've ever fallen in your life, you're going to be able to learn how to break that fall. Some of them are going to be off balance, and you have no choice. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that you cannot control sometimes. But there are moments that you will be able to control, embrace, and break your fall. And hopefully, those are the moments where judo comes in. But he's, it's one of those things that he's going to need to continue to take it for a while. So because I took it for several years, like 3 years it was. So at least it was burned into me because I was doing it every week. We had judo class every single week. Can't tell you about, my daughter got the brown belt in karate. But in judo, I can definitely tell you that it will help you in breaking your fall. Eric says, wow, it's diggable planets. I looked it up. I always thought it was digital planets. My bad, Big O. I learned something today. I gave Eric props for not knowing that fact. Okay. The perception is that since he's been in the league, it's that Tua's frail and he's injury prone. The media speculation is built on that, and that's what sells. Well, of course. Definitely. But, I mean, listen, he hasn't held up, and he's had the injuries. So he's got to kind of break that mold, too, and kind of show people that he can stay healthy so he can change perception. But it's going to take a couple of years of him staying away from injuries for people to say, oh, okay, he got over the hump and he's figured things out. 1 year won't be enough. It'll need at least a couple before you're able to really, do it. Are you telling us, Big O, that you know judo and Sean knows wrestling? Who would win that match? Sean wins every time. Every time. What have we learned, Big O? Should not do any type of skiing, snow or water. I'm still here, bro. Okay? And if you think you're not going to fall, you're going to fall always. It's going to happen. And by the way, if I'm skiing to be dropped off on the side of the coast, I'm a pretty good skier. That's usually what it means. So I actually can ski. I have no problem skiing. And even on one ski, water. Now, I've never done snow skiing on one, but I've done plenty of water skiing on one. So judo isn't going to help you when you have a 300-pound linebacker coming at you to rip your head off. Actually, no, it will help you. It will help you if they hit you, that you can learn to turn around, or you can learn to spin and brace your body for the fall. See, the thing is, Zach, you're talking and you don't know because you've never actually taken judo. But judo, yes, can teach you how to fall. So there'll be times on a football field where you're going to be able to use it. Sometimes if you dive into the end zone and some people dive and they're all screwed up, if you know how to dive, that you know how to then roll to break your fall, you'll be fine. So it will help you. Is it going to help you in every situation? I told you it won't. But there are times where you're going to be able to get hit, and you could find a way to brace and roll off the hit. No doubt about it. Yes, we are going to Canton this year, Brent. Yes, we are. Yes, we are going to Canton. We'll get our sponsors hopefully behind it. We'll be going to the Combine. We'll be going to Canton. We went to the Senior Bowl. So, yes, we will be going to Canton. I got to prepare everything already for our trip to Canton. But yes. And by the way, if your business wants to be a part of our platform, 786-754-4664, that is our business line. If you want to support our platform, if you want to expose your business to a large audience, locally, statewide, nationally, internationally, great for branding purposes, please reach out to our business line at 786-754-4664. Appreciate all of you out there as always. Don't forget, baby, we got a great deal going on with Nature B right now, 85 cents a day, 200 cap supply, which is 100 days at 85 cents. Go to naturebee.com/Big O, and you will get a free Manuka honey lip balm for free. All right? For free. So enjoy it. What else do we have going on in the world of deportes here? Heat beat the Magic 107-103. They're 7 games above 500. They're favored by 1.5. Oh, well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. With the Tyler news, let me see if the line shifted now with the Tyler news. Let's see. See where we're at now. No, it's still. Oh, Denver's favored by 1.5 now. See, you had a chance to take Denver plus the points. Now it's like we talked about in the interview that it would swing the other way. It has swung the other way now, and Denver is favored by 1.5 at the Miami-Dade Arena tonight at 7:30. Panthers, by the way, Saturday lost to the Avalanche 5-3. They're in the 10th spot with 58 points. The 8th spot is at 61 points right now. So they've got another team to climb over to get to that 8th spot. Tonight they take on the Wild, and the Wild are favored by 1.5 goals. They're going to go through a stretch here with a few games that they're actually facing a few playoff teams, a couple non-playoff teams. So we'll see how the Cats handle it, but it's been ugly, man. It has been an ugly situation. What else do we have? Oh, man, did you see we had some really depressing news in the NFL yesterday? This is the kind of stuff that the NFL is mourning today, isn't it? I mean, flags everywhere should be at half staff around the NFL. Every logo flag out there that's outside of a team facility should be at half staff this year on this day. Chad Henne has announced his retirement. I'm not sure if the NFL can go on without Chad Henne. I don't know about that. I got to tell you, after stealing money after being in this league for so many years, he has called it quits. The great Chad Henne. How will Pat Mahomes move forward without Chad Henne in the quarterback room? Will Pat Mahomes lose confidence without Chad Henne backing him up? You know, it's kind of like that big brother of yours. You know, he's joining you for the fight because you got some problems in after school, and you're about yay big, and your brother's about this big, and you feel great because big brother is behind you for that fight, right? That's what it's like. I mean, Pat Mahomes goes into every game knowing, I got Chad Henne behind me. The legend that is Chad Henne. I don't know how the Kansas City Chiefs are going to move forward. I can't wait to see Matt Verderame on Wednesday when we have to now talk about the retirement of Chad Henne. Think about that. You have put your franchise at a real deficit now. I don't know how they find a guy to provide the leadership, the stability that Chad Henne brings to the table every single week. It's amazing to me, man. I got to tell you. And the league. I mean, I think everybody should retire the Chad Henne jersey. Every team, especially the Dolphins, who drafted that man with the 50th overall pick. The great Chad Henne. Damn. I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss him big time. Big O, that tweet that Gronk was bigger than everyone else, that was and no, he's bigger. You can tell. You could tell when he was standing, forget camera angle, bro. He was towering over those guys. He really is bigger. The thing is that Strahan and Howie really aren't that big. That's the real deal. But Gronk, my God, you could tell Gronk is just absolutely towering. Bitcoin should sponsor you, Big O. I don't think they're a company, bro. They're not really out there, throwing money around. Richard Ray, thank you for the love on the super chat. And remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. You can even make a Bitcoin donation at Cash Big O Show. Richard Ray says, Big O, I just realized that between Mike McDaniel and Kyle Shanahan, they lost 7 quarterbacks for at least one game last season. It's fair to say that this is a deficiency in their system. No, it's just bad luck. That's all. Don't look too much into it, bro. It's just bad luck. That's all. And Tua has been dealing with injuries for several years now. That has nothing to do with Mike McDaniel. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a big deal. And Garoppolo has been getting injured every year of his career, pretty much. So there's nothing new there also. Those are injury-prone players. It's on them, not on – it's just bad luck. That's all. You know? The great Henne will need to have a statue in Kansas City, Jacksonville, and Miami. I think so. You know the song Chad Henne is a joke? Oh yeah. That's oh God, what's the name of those people that they did the Ted Ginn song too. Ted Ginn wins everything. Ted Ginn. What's the name of oh man, I forgot the name of that band that they did the Chad Henne song and the Ted Ginn song. They're an Ohio State band. They do stuff or they're Buckeyes fans, and they do songs for Ohio State.
Dead Schembecklers.
That's it. The what is it? Schembecklers? What?
Dead Schembecklers. At least that's what it says on here.
That's it. The Dead Schembecklers. Yeah, we used to play that Ted Ginn song all the time. I don't know if I still have the Ted Ginn song. Let me see if I can come up. If I can come up with the Ted Ginn song, that would be absolutely strong on my part. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Let me see if I have it here. Used to play it all back in the day on the show. Oh, here we go. I do have some Ted Ginn stuff, but I'm trying to find it.
Oh, I don't think it's playing. I don't hear you. No, I don't have you. muted. You're muted.
Okay, I'm sorry. There we go.
Well, it looks like it changed. You're not on your microphone anymore. You're on the webcam. No, you're on the webcam.
Okay, so now I've got to. Aha.
Okay, are we better now?
Yeah, now we got your mic good.
Okay, all right, good. Did you guys get Ted Ginn? Did you hear it?
No, nothing came through. It muted you and everything went silent.
Oh, really? Oh, guys, come on.
Oh, Magoo, you dropped it again.
Oh, yes.
Gonna get you.
Let's see.
It muted you again. You're muted, oh. Yeah, it beats you as soon as you play it, whatever you're doing.
Now?
Yeah, we can hear it, but we're hearing it through the webcam.
No?
Yeah, it's low. It's low, but we can hear it.
So you weren't hearing that at all?
No, we could hear it that time, but we're hearing it through your webcam. When you don't have it playing through the StreamYard.
Why is it automatically switching over to the webcam when
didn't switch it, the bastards?
You must have something set up on StreamYard to allow it to go to whatever's playing, because it automatically switched to the playing.
How about
now?
now?
Yeah, you're back on your mic now. You're good.
Who built the Sphinx and pyramids? Who built the Eiffel Tower? Then who tore down the Berlin Wall with marble superpower? Who fought off giant asteroids to keep the Earth from dying? Who led the troops in World War II and then saved Private Ryan? Take it! Take it! Take it! Did everything! Take it! Take it! Take it! Did everything! Who made the Earth? Who made the sun? Who saved the baby seal? Who was the first in history to give a suitcase wheel? Who built the ark while Noah slept to turn that into gold? Who got your cat down from the tree when you were 4 years old? Take it! Take it! Take it! Did everything! Take it! Take it! Take it! Did everything! Take it! Whoa, Nelly, we are talking Big Ten football excitement from the muddy banks of the Olentangy. Oh my, Ohio State Buckeyes taking on those Nancy boys of Ann Arbor, the Michigan Wolverines. Ted Ginn, snapping the ball back to himself, lateraling off to Ginn, hitting back. Oh my, he's thrown it 100 yards and caught it for the win, an Ohio State victory! Whoa, Nelly, Lloyd Carr left to wring out his pink frilly panties. Whoa, my.
There you go. You ever heard that, Sean? Did you know about that song? No, huh? We used to play it all the time. When we had Ted Ginn on the team and all that stuff, we used to do that all the time. Those of you, of course, that have been with us for a long time, you probably remember that song that we used to play. What are the chances we get dinged by YouTube? 100%? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm going to go 50 just because it's audio. I don't know if it's going to pick it up. If we had done a video, definitely 100. But with that,
yeah,
50.
For sure. For sure. Eddie Leff says, I'm guessing that was Cam Cameron's favorite band. Yeah, so they're big Ohio State people. So they do Bo Schembechler, Dead Schembechlers, whatever. Brian says, what did you learn from these two Super Bowl teams on what the Dolphins need to do to complete the teams like the Eagles and the Chiefs? Personally, I don't think Tua can do what Pat and Jalen did. Well, then there's nothing else to talk about then. I hope we don't get dinged by Ted Ginn. Well, that could happen. That's a possibility.
And his family.
And his family. That's right. It's very important. EJD Construction. Call Eric right now, folks. Custom home construction, major home remodeling, 305-433-4843, and fully insured. So that way you know when EJD Construction steps into your home and everybody else working with them, they are fully insured. You will not get sued. Be careful. If you hire the wrong people, they come to work at your home. Somebody gets injured, you are liable. They can actually sue you. So make sure whoever you have working in your home is fully insured in today's world, because let me tell you something, these workers, they know the laws better than you do because they know how to take advantage of them and take advantage of you. EJD Construction, they do shell construction in-house. That's how they keep the cost down, folks. 305-433-4843, Dade and Broward counties only. So not in Palm Beach, folks. Only Dade and Broward County, 305-433-4843. A lot of you are calling because you've got to upgrade and update your roof now. Those of you that live in homes that are older than 20 years, insurance companies are not renewing your policies. And when hurricane season rolls around, you need to be protected here in South Florida. Flood insurance, all of that, you need it. Well, if you got to fix your roof, call EJD Construction. They can upgrade your roof so you can pass an inspection and get that new policy headed into 2023 hurricane season. 305-433-4843. All right. So Dave from De La Soul passes away at the age of 54. Sadly, dealing with some heart issues. 54 years old. I see these things, and this is why I say every day, like I told you when I started the show, that it's just a blessing to be here. At 56, I almost feel like you're playing with fire every single day of your life nowadays, because you see people just pass away at much younger ages, and it's just sad. The other bit of news that came out is U2 has announced their residency in Las Vegas. The new Sphere is coming to Las Vegas. Last couple times that I've been there, I've watched the Sphere being built, and it's behind the Link. Actually, if you know where that's at, it's behind the Link. And so U2, it's interesting. I will definitely. I'm going to be in Vegas for this for at least one show. At least one show. I'm going to try to go to multiple shows here. But U2, from Dublin to Sin City for Las Vegas residency this fall, they have announced it that they will be performing. By the way, they will be playing Octane Baby concerts at the new state-of-the-art MSG Sphere in the Venetian in Las Vegas. A 4-minute version of the spot you can find. By the way, it's all over the internet. Fans can register at u2xsphere.com to receive updates regarding tickets and show dates. The concerts will take place without U2's drummer Larry Mullen, who previously announced that he would not be performing with the group in 2023. It's going to take all we've got to approach the Sphere without our bandmate in the drum seat. But Larry has joined us in welcoming Bram Vandenberg, who is a force in his own right. The other members of U2 said via statement, the Sphere show has been in the works for a long time. We don't want to let people down, least of all our audience. The truth is, we miss them as much as they appear to miss us. Our audience was always the fifth member of the band, the statement continued. Bottom line, U2 hasn't played live since December of 2019, and we need to get back on stage and see the faces of our fans again. And what a unique stage they're building for us out in the desert. We're the right band, Octane Baby, the right album, and the Sphere, the right venue to take the live experience of music to the next level. That's what U2's been trying to do all along with our satellite stages and video installations. More memorable on the Zoo TV tour, which ended in Tokyo 30 years ago this fall. So Billboard reported that the 7,500 seat venue cost $1.8 billion. It's the largest spherical structure ever created. It will create 160,000 square feet of video viewing space. Sphere officials describe the technology as interior immersive display, state-of-the-art audio, and an exterior exosphere that changes the building's look via fully programmable LED technology. In their statement, U2's excitement to open the venue, the Sphere is more than just a venue, it's a gallery, and U2's music is going to be all over the walls, it declared. Bono was coy about the prospect of U2 Vegas residency when the subject came up during a January appearance on the Smartless podcast, co-hosted by Jason Bateman, Sean Hayes, and Will Arnett. We have signed on off it, but if we do sign off on this, I will say that if we can pull it off, what we're talking about is nothing like we've ever done before. It's nothing like Las Vegas has ever seen before. U2 will also release Songs of Surrender, a new album featuring reinterpretations of 40 classic songs from their catalog on St. Patrick's Day. So we got a lot to look forward to for those of us that are U2 fans and want to go there. The only part that sucks is that Larry Mullen will not be a part of it. That's the part that sucks, because I've never seen a U2 concert without Larry Mullen Jr. being at the kit. And unfortunately, he will not be at the kit. You can look for the video all over the place. Just put U2 live, Octoon Baby at the Sphere. And I love that they're going to do. I went recently, not recently, God, it was several years ago already, to the Joshua Tree tour that they I went to the original Joshua Tree tour, saw it a couple times. But then they redid it and replayed all the songs, and it was awesome. And Octoon Baby is a phenomenal album. So I'm glad that they're going to be doing the entire album. That is going to be awesome. Awesome. I got to see them in Dublin. That's the other thing I want to do with the next tour. I saw U2 at the Orange Bowl years ago. Great show. Yes. I remember the Joshua Tree tour was at the Orange Bowl. If I'm correct, I think that might have been the last U2 concert at the Orange Bowl, right? Yeah. Because I saw that at the Orange Bowl, and then I saw it at the Sombrero the next day in Tampa. And I want to say that was the last concert there for U2. That was a long time ago. Long time ago. By the way, you're seeing Hialeah Park there. We'll be there on Thursday, and boxing is returning. Una gran noche de boxeo cubano. Once again, baby, Guillermo Regandao will be returning to the ring Friday, February 24th. We've got Ali Rodriguez, De La Torres, Las Calle, a couple of young Cuban boxers that are up-and-coming guys that could be real stars, and this will be your opportunity to see some of these stars and obviously see Guillermo wrap up a fantastic career. Should be awesome. Go to HialeahPark.com. And by the way, check out Hialeah Park and the loosest slots out there. Great place to hang out and relax. Great food, great atmosphere. Second floor poker room is always awesome. TVs everywhere, so you can keep up with everything. The lovely ladies, and I mean lovely ladies, they're at Hialeah Park will serve you drinks and food all the time there, and you can keep up with any of the racing going on around the country and any of the sporting events also going around. So go check it out at HialeahPark.com. Red says, saw U2 in their infancy at Fort Myers. Nobody knew who they were. Are you talking about the War Tour? They went to the Sunrise Musical Theater for that one. I don't know where they went to in Fort Myers, but I think that's the one you're talking about, which is 1983, I want to say. 82, something like that. I want to say one of the two. So that's probably what you're talking about, because that's the year they came for the War Tour at the Sunrise Musical Theater. Who's gonna ride your wild horses? It's a great song. Dougie Fresh says Larry Mullins is one of the most unique rock drummers ever. Listen to Sunday Bloody Sunday, and you will never find another drum part that has ever sounded like that or played that rhythm. It's genius. He is. They're all phenomenal musicians. They don't get enough credit for how good they are as musicians. And Edge, for me, is one of the most underrated guitarists of all time. Okay, and he'll never be put in the same category with Eddie Van Halen and Jimi Hendrix, and he's not considered to fly through the frets like Yngwie Malmsteen or something like that. But this is a guy that I know you're not going to put him in George Benson's class, things like that. That we could talk about all kinds of different types of guitarists and Eric Clapton and things like that, but the sounds that the creativeness behind his guitar work is second to none to anybody in the history of music. Just to me, I think his craftiness is as elite as it gets. I don't think there's anybody more creative than he is with the kind of sounds that he gets out of his guitar and the different types of songs that he has written, over time. I think he just goes completely under the radar. Totally. And will never be looked at like that. But I really believe when it comes to the creative part of it, he is one of the most creative guitarists I've ever seen in my life. And yet, he'll never be in any kind of conversation. It's kind of like when you talk drums and you talk Terry Bozzio, and you're like, and most people are like, huh, what? And hey, it's the missing persons guy. Oh, get out of here. That just like that. And they won't know how great this freaking guy is, but that's usually the way it is, Red says, love Jay Giles, but didn't know U2 was pleasantly surprised at that moment in time. Was pleasantly surprised at that moment in time. Yeah. And Jay Giles is phenomenal. Yeah. Red says, yeah, must be 83. Sounds right. Yeah. You're talking about the War Tour. I know. I lived it. Big O, let's face it, Finns should never have given up on Chad Henne. He's a Super Bowl champion for a reason. He still should be. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion, sir. Get your shit straight, okay? Art of the sport. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion, okay? Chad Henne is one of a kind. I'm with you. They gave the wrong quarterback 7 years. They should have given it to Chad Henne. That happens, Dolphins easily win the Super Bowl. Like, easily. Cake. Maybe several times over with the great Chad Henne. I'm with you, sir. I'm with you all the way. When sports and business collide, we like doing something called the KSDT CPA Sports Business Report. All right. So Carmelo Anthony and former, Sean, WWE co-presidents have launched a sports fund. George Barrios and Michelle Wilson are partnering with the 10-time NBA star Carmelo Anthony, and they're launching a firm called ISOS 7 Sports Investments. So I'm not sure Los 7 or Los Sevens or whatever. I don't know. Says we have a shared vision for how a new wave of diverse investors will identify global growth opportunities and impact the marketplace, said Barrios and Wilson. Of the $750 million expected fresh capital, the firm hopes to provide between $50 and $100 million per investment to a global list of sports entities from leagues to teams. The firm will also donate 1% of its profits to support underrepresented populations and undeserved communities. So first of all, Sean, are you familiar with George Barrios and Michelle Wilson?
They were presidents within the WWE executives, so no, not really. I've heard the names. I don't know necessarily. I know they're part of the executive team with WWE.
Why is it that when I see something like this, it's kind of like the A-Rod thing? Like, yeah, it's the last thing I want to invest in. When I see A-Rod, like in sports investment and advice, I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure if I want your advice, dude. And then I see this, and I'm like, so I don't know about this. Would you trust Mello with your money? I know Mello loves his money. He might also love your money too. I'm not sure, man. I got to tell you. That is one that I'd be a little nervous saying, yeah, I'm all in with you, Mello. By the way, KSDT CPA's office is in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County, 305-670-3370. So if you live in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach, by the way, we've got an office coming to you in North Carolina very soon. From healthcare advisory to property management to wealth management, they help you, not just with your personal taxes, your business taxes, but they can help you with your business, period, man. Payroll, sales, personal finance, tax planning, international taxation. If you're looking to sell your business, there's so many ways that they can help you. Accounting services, assurance. They do it all, folks. Check it out at KSDT CPAs and give them a ring. Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach counties, 305-670-3370. Offices in Dadeland, offices in Weston, and in West Palm Beach. Tell them that Big O sent you. They will definitely take care of you.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
Kevin Beal, thank you for the love on Venmo. Thank you. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show on Cash App or Venmo. Kevin says, Big O, just reminiscent. Watched the 2001 playoff game against the Colts in which Fiedler threw, I believe, 4 interceptions, and we somehow won. Last time we won a playoff game, we then stick with Fiedler 4 more years and miss playoffs in all of them with the stacked defense. I know. Fiedler was a serviceable quarterback. The injuries took a toll on him on the back end there the last couple of years, where he wasn't necessarily a super gifted guy. Injured made him even less gifted. And so that was kind of rough on him. But yeah, they nobody will ever tell you that Jay Fiedler was a franchise quarterback and all that stuff. They should have done better. Yeah. I have nothing against Fiedler. I'm a Fiedler fan. I admire him. Got my Fiedler bobblehead here. I'm loyal to Jay. But I know that he wasn't, the special guy. I get it. And that's, Wani's problem, and he could not fix it. And that's because he kept depending on the defense and the running game and the kicking game. And he thought he can build a dominant enough team that all you need is a quarterback to be serviceable and be, what's that called? A facilitator on his best day. But that team was never that dominant to be that, unfortunately. And you needed a quarterback that could make some throws and make some plays, and Jay could only do so much. So yeah, it was tough, man. It was tough. But I'll tell you this: I covered the guy, and his heart could never be measured. That dude left it all on the field. I got to admit. So anyway. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? I think I got all the super chats there. I did. Thank you. So we got the Super Bowl done in Arizona. Now next stop is Las Vegas. And hopefully Sean and I will be in Las Vegas next
It's
year.
New Orleans.
Oh, New Orleans. I'm sorry. New Orleans, then Las Vegas.
Then Vegas, yeah.
Then Vegas. And hopefully Sean and I will be at the next two Super Bowls, maybe even Radio Row, actually. So we will try to do all of that. And but although I'll try my best to change things up on Radio Row. Okay. That I will. But Vegas, they've got the Super Bowl coming in 2 years. They've got Formula One in November. They're hosting the 2028 Men's Final Four. So now you've got, college football playoff game is something else that they're going for. That's the thing about Vegas now. Vegas has put themselves in a position now where they can host any and every kind of sporting event, whereas, it was all taboo to go to Vegas. For pro teams to make it a home, for big-time sporting events to be there, and now that has all changed. It's pretty amazing how we have changed how society has changed. A lot of us, we wanted gambling to be a part of all of this. You know what I mean? It wasn't like anything new to us that we didn't want gambling. Of course, we want gambling to be a part of this. What the hell? Doesn't do anything for us. That it's not part of it. We all benefit from it. It's entertainment. People, plenty of people are making money. Companies that are running this stuff and what's it called? Running these betting companies. They're getting the business. So everybody, there's work being developed from all of this. So everybody is benefiting. Listen, those that have an addiction, they're going to find a way to do things no matter what, whether they're legal or illegal. It didn't matter if you were drinking. It didn't matter if you're smoking. It doesn't matter if you're betting. It doesn't matter if you want to have sex. Whatever you make illegal, people are going to find a way to use and do it. And anybody that has an addiction will go and abuse it either way, whether it's legal or illegal. Hell, they might even abuse it worse if it's illegal. Didn't Fiedler grow up with Anthony Mason? I think his family. Yeah, I think there was something about that. Yeah, there's something there. I forgot how the story goes, but I think you're onto something. I forgot about it.
Hey,
yes, sir.
Just to correct myself, you were correct. 58 is in Vegas. 59 is in New Orleans.
Okay, so next year Vegas.
Yes, you were
right,
100%
next year Vegas,
correct. You were right. Yes.
Right. Next year Vegas, the year after New Orleans. But either way, hopefully we will be at both because those are two Super Bowls that I'd like to go to. Yeah. Definitely would like to go to. You know what? I haven't checked if there's any good concerts in Indianapolis while I'm there. And I get back on my wife's birthday. It's like terrible. And I have to come back on the Saturday, not on the Friday. Sucks. But anyway. Yeah. But I got to check to see if there's any concerts in the Indy area. Hey, listen, all of you out there, you can be my producers right now. Tell me if there are any concerts between February 28th and March 4th that are any good in the Indianapolis area. So maybe I'm up there. I can actually enjoy a concert. That would be actually good if there's a good show. I don't know if there will be. My luck, there won't be a good show there at all. Brett says, Vegas and New Orleans buffets, beware. Big O and Sean are headed your way. Yeah. Yeah, I just won't. If they have hot dogs on the buffet, I won't be eating the hot dogs. Okay. Brian says, looking back, the thing that gets me in the 2005 draft when Miami passed on Aaron Rodgers for Ronnie Brown, everybody passed on Aaron Rodgers. Ronnie Brown was the second overall pick, and Aaron Rodgers went like 24, 25 in the first round. everybody passed on Aaron Rodgers. Okay. And why did everybody pass on Aaron Rodgers? Let's not lose perspective. Jeff Tedford, right? I believe that's the name of the head coach that was there at Cal back then. Look it up for me. Is it Jeff Tedford, I want to say? Well, he had a string of failed Cal quarterbacks that kept coming out. And so Aaron got the label of the other soft Cal quarterbacks, Kyle Bowler. God, there was another guy. There was a run on quarterbacks from Cal, and they were busting and busting and busting. So Aaron Rodgers was kind of being labeled that. And I got to tell you that a lot of people, even in the NFL, they didn't have a high opinion of Aaron Rodgers. They thought he was also a product of the system. Okay? And so he ended up getting that label. I remember David Cantor. David Cantor is an agent. He lives in town, and he is the agent for X, by the way, and many other Dolphins over the years, and maybe a couple of other current Dolphins that I'm kind of brain farting on right now. But I remember this. Aaron Rodgers came down to a workout in the Orange Bowl. Okay. And I was there for that workout, and it was for a couple of years. We had draft picks go there. Have you seen the Open to the Show where Sean plays this thing that I'm with all kinds of different athletes and artists and entertainers and all that kind of stuff? One of them is Greg Olson, who was on last night. And Greg was at one of those events too in the Orange Bowl before he was going to the NFL. And it was kind of like a little combine entertainment thing that they would do. And Aaron was there, and he threw darts all over the place. And that day, David Cantor goes, that guy, he told me, that guy's going to be a star. I don't care what anybody tells me. David Cantor was one of the few people that offseason, scouts, general managers, personnel directors, media, out of all the people we would talk to, David Cantor was one of the very, very minute people. In fact, he's the only one that told me, I don't care what anybody tells me, that guy is going to be a star. I will always remember that about David, because I remember the context of everything. And that's why when you mentioned it, I want to bring up the context of it. Okay. And I'm trying to remember it wasn't only Kyle Bowler, it was somebody else that also failed. I forgot what it was, but there was a run on a couple of guys from Tedford's classes that were just chokers, that they just failed miserably. And a lot of people thought that Rodgers was going to fall under that same label of, yeah, no, those Cal quarterbacks don't transfer over. What you got for me? Is it Jeff Tedford? Am I right? Let me see something here. Oh man, I'm trying to find the history of Cal quarterbacks, just because I know it wasn't only Kyle Bowler. Okay, here we go. List of Bears starting quarterbacks. Here we go. Where are we at now? Aaron Rodgers, Kyle Bowler before him, Mike Pawlowski. What is it? Justin Vetter, Pat Barnes. God, I don't remember those guys coming out with that kind of fanfare like Kyle Bowler did. Kyle Bowler came out with a lot of fanfare, and then Aaron Rodgers. Maybe it was Pat Barnes. Yes, sir.
All right, so I got this was from a Bleacher Report article. It says here are some of the names who played collegiately under Tedford: Joey Harrington.
That's
Kyle
what it was.
Bowler.
It wasn't just Cal. Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's what it was. Yes. Go ahead.
Joey Harrington, Kyle Bowler, Trent Dilfer, Achilles Smith, A.J. Feely, David Carr.
Right. That's what it was. That a lot of his quarterbacks, that's what it was. And was it Jeff? Did I get that right?
Yeah, it was Jeff Tedford, yeah.
Right, exactly.
He's the winningest coach in California, University of California history, by the way, too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But that was kind of his thing, that Tedford quarterbacks did not transfer well to the next level. And a lot of them, Trent Dilfer was a failure. It's just, at the back end of his career, he landed in Tampa and all he had to do was make a couple of passes every game, and that's it. That's why.
The story is called Aaron Rodgers will flop just like every other Tedford product. That was the main story.
There you go. Context. Exactly. I remember it, bro. I remember it all. I remember all of this like it was yesterday. That's why I had to add context to it, about Aaron Rodgers, because I remember when he came out, it was a whole Tedford thing. He was held against, people underestimated him because of Ted. And it wasn't his fault. Or Jeff, I'm sorry, because of Jeff Tedford. So, yeah. So, there you go. Told you. I don't have Omar Kelly memory. I have a pretty good encyclopedia in here of a bunch of crap that's happened in the past, and I do it all the time. I usually can remember most of the stuff. I mean, you're not going to remember everything. There's just too much crazy shit at times that goes on in your life that sometimes you don't remember. Cool story, Big O. Thanks. Amazing how far Rodgers slid that year and how many teams effed up. Yeah, and that's because of the Tedford thing. It was just we were blaming Tedford because all his quarterbacks were just chokers, and they would never come through. And it was like, oh, Aaron Rodgers, another Tedford guy. And it was so unfair to Aaron Rodgers. Context, ladies and gentlemen, you need it. If you don't have it, then you don't really approach things the right way. The Jets are already acquiring about Aaron Rodgers. And you've got Derek Carr telling I love how Derek Carr is telling the Raiders, go play in traffic. Get out of my face. I'm denying every trade. You're not getting a draft pick for me. You have crapped on me. I'm tired of you crapping on me. And now I'm going to let you trade me so you can get no. I'm going to pick the team I want to go to. I'm going to get the contract I want to go to. I'm going to get people are desperate for quarterbacks. They need me. So I'm going to play the Saints against the Jets, against the Raiders, and well, not the Raiders in his case, but same thing that Aaron Rodgers and everything else, they're going to play them against each other. So now you're going to have the Raiders and the Jets fighting for Aaron Rodgers. The loser will probably end up with Garoppolo. I still think that he's going to try to leverage his way to New Orleans, but he's going to have to use other teams to try to get more money out of New Orleans. But if you're New Orleans, at least you're going to give up the cap space, but you're not giving up the picks. I don't know what the deal was between those two. But now you've got the Jets, and the part with the Jets that becomes kind of intriguing, if you want to call it that way, they have a window, folks. Their team is pretty good. And you've hit on some picks, but if you don't hit on the quarterback, you're never going to take advantage of the window you have with the Jets. Then the players get not too old for you. They get old that you got to pay them now because they've got a lot of young guys that they've drafted and they've hit on the last couple of years. But those guys are going to play, and then eventually you're going to have to pay them, and you won't have the same kind of room. So this is the opportunity now to actually get that quarterback. So the Jets are going to be in an incredibly desperation mode to trade for Aaron Rodgers or to make the move for Jimmy Garoppolo or Derek Carr if you're the Jets. But you've got to get the quarterback now. Now, the thing is, you've got to do it now because eventually when you've got to pay all those other guys, you will not have the same cap space. You will not be able to keep everybody, and you will start to lose some of the players that you hit on. That's why for the Dolphins, it's very important now that you figure shit out over the next 2 years because Miami's going to tag the kid and they're going to own him for the 5th year, and then they can negotiate a new deal in the 6th year. Tua has no leverage now. Zero. Some guy sent me a text. Oh my God. I forgot what quarterback. They're going to be off asking for a whole bunch of money. They better tag Tua. I'm like, dude, relax. Tua has no leverage here. Zero leverage. Nothing. Nada. Nay. He, unfortunately, because of his injury history and this year dealing with the concussions, he has nothing. He's fortunate to get his 5th year option. And it's the smart move by the Dolphins because if the kid does figure it out next year and he is able to stay healthy, then you've already built up a year. And in that 2nd year, he's going to be worth a lot of money and you're going to have to pay. But the good thing is you've bought yourself that window for the next 2 years that you don't have to pay him big money. But you do have more than enough cap space to complete a team around them to try to win that title. But for the Jets, they've got to go find the guy now because they've also hit on a few guys that they're going to have to re-sign. And look, Breece Hall, you've already lost a year of his due to injury. So he's got to come back next year, coming back from a knee injury. So he's got to overcome that. And as we all know, you're not going to be yourself in that first year back. You could get back to being pretty special if you're Breece Hall, but you're not going to really be yourself till the 2024 season. Interesting quarterback situation going on in New York and in Las Vegas. And by the way, I laugh at Las Vegas. They are a stupid franchise that constantly does stupid things. Derek Carr was not your problem, is not your problem, has never been your problem. Your problem has been all the other dysfunction that's gone around. And this year, it wasn't about, I know he didn't play well down the stretch. I get it. And all quarterbacks have bad streaks and bad stretches and all that good stuff. But it was this team that was constantly giving up 13-point or more lead, 13 or more points of a lead in the 4th quarter. And they did it several times. Crazy, crazy quarterback stories going on in the NFL. All right. Just like a lot of those BYU QBs from the 80s and 90s, only Steve Young to the extent, and McMahon did have plenty of success. McMahon just got injured by George Martin, and that ended his career. But McMahon was a first-class badass. Okay? McMahon and Young were success stories. I get it that what's the guy's name? I'm trying to remember. One of the guys that put up a crap ton of yardage and touchdowns. Frisco. God. Oh, it's something like that. I don't want to cheat and try to remember the name. Somebody's probably going to come up with it because they probably Googled it or whatever. Oh, man, what was his name right before Steve Young that he put up some serious stats? Oh, God. Ty Detmer, by the way, also was a BYU guy, and he wasn't any great or anything, but he lasted in the league a lot longer than I ever expected Ty Detmer would for a BYU quarterback. But it was like Bobby Roscoe, Bobby Roscoe, Bobby, or Roscoe. No, Bobby Roscoe. I think so. No, not Fouts. Now you're going way back. It was like Bobby Roscoe or something like that, or some crap like that. I forgot the kid's name, but he put up a crap ton of yards. Hell, was he the guy for the Holiday Bowl? Can you look it up for me, Sean? Holiday Bowl, BYU over Michigan. And tell me who
Robbie Bosco.
Robbie Bosco. That's him.
1984, he led the charge as the Cougars ran the table, finished the perfect 13-0 record, and victory over Michigan in the Holiday Bowl.
Pulled that shit out again, baby. Pulled that shit out again.
And he was the quarterback right after Young.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and he put up he had a great career. Robbie Bosco was one great college quarterback. Okay? Forget that he didn't make it in the NFL and all that. Don't ever take away anything from a young man who performs at an incredibly high level in college. So, yeah,
Here's
he put up
stats.
Yes, go ahead.
Of course, he's the QB of the national championship team. Second in Davey O'Brien voting. Third in the Heisman Trophy voting. 66 touchdown passes, 8,400 passing yards. Led the nation in total offense in 84. Second in 1985. Averaged over 300 yards passing per game in 2 seasons as a starter.
Yep. Dude was a hell of a player, bro. Hell of a player. Yeah, definitely. Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. He probably inspired that. It's probably what he did. Big O McMahon apparently showed up to his first Bears training camp in a limo with his shades in all black tuxedo. Coach Mike Ditka said right then, I knew this guy was different. Yeah, McMahon was a completely different cat, bro. No doubt about that. Thank you, Sean. As always, you are a stud. All right, we are out of here. Enough going through my memory banks of my head here. And we got plenty of memories inside the banks. And we are blessed to have the memory banks. Thank you. We thank Ira Winderman and Cameron Wolf. Andy Behrens will make his return tomorrow to the program. He's gone through a lot of personal stuff, and so we are obviously all behind him. And he will be joining us tomorrow. So we will get Andy Behrens back on track and on with us every week. And we'll start talking a lot more draft stuff, Dolphins-wise, and all that kind of stuff also moving forward in that segment too. So you'll hear a lot of draft and NFL and Dolphin stuff throughout that segment there. It'll be more of the football talk that then you twist it into a fantasy angle, but it's really going to be more about draft and NFL talk. All those segments from here on out. Anyway, we thank Ira Winderman and Cameron Wolf. Sean Stanley, of course, the man that masters this platform every single day. We will see you all tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Love you all.
This is the Big O Show.